Welcome to this course on mastering Kali Linux for ethical hackers. Here what you can expect to learn. This course is crafted specifically for beginners who have recently installed Kali Linux but not yet familiar with executing Linux commands. Our goal is to guide you through the essential Linux fundamentals, starting from basic concepts and advancing to more complex topics. Additionally, the advanced sections of this course will explore a range of Linux tools essential for ethical hacking activities. So guys, we'll see you in the course. In this video, I will show you how to set up the Kali machine and Metasploitable 2 machine on VMware. So first search on Kali Linux download on Google and click on this get Kali. Alright, and then click on virtual machine and then download it for VMware. Okay, click here. So it will start downloading this Kali machine for VMware. And on another tab, just search for Metasploitable 2 download and click on this Metasploitable. Okay, and you can download this Metasploitable from here. So after downloading this Kali Linux and Metasploitable, let's see how we can set up the Kali machine and Metasploitable 2 on VMware. Then you have to extract these files, this Kali Linux file and the Metasploitable Linux file. Okay, after extracting it, just open this VMware. And then we will click on this open virtual machine. And then click on this folder. After that, just click on this. So then click on this play virtual machine. And then press N key. Okay. It will automatically start. And for Kali Linux, the default credential is Kali and Kali. Username is Kali. And the password is also Kali. Alright. So we'll type the username and password. Okay. So this is how you can set up the Kali Linux on VMware. Now we'll see how you can set up the Metasploitable 2 machine. Once again, click on open a virtual machine. Then select the file. So the file name is this is a folder and here is a file. Okay. And just click on play virtual machine. So starting up. So for this Metasploitable 2 machine, the username and password are msfadmin. Just type msfadmin for username and msfadmin for the password. So this is how you can set up the Kali Linux and Metasploitable 2 on VMware. That's all for this video. Hey guys, in this video, I will cover some basic commands of Linux. Let's explore some fundamental commands. Okay, the first command we have is pwd. Pwd command will show you your present working directory. So for me, my present working directory is home and Kali. It's displaying me home/Kali. That's my present working directory. So if I want to display the files and folder inside this directory, I need to use ls command. So guys, hope you know what is a directory. Directory is a folder. Okay. So here it's showing me the directories and the files. Okay. And if I want to move inside this desktop directory, I need to use cd command. Cd command is used for changing the directory. Like if I want to change my directory to desktop, I can use cd command, cd and the directory name. So if I will check my present working directory is home, Kali and /desktop. Okay. So think I'm inside this desktop directory. If I list files and folder inside this desktop directory, I need to use ls command. ls command can list files and folder inside this directory. Okay. So as we can see, there is no files and folders present inside this directory, so it's not showing anything, right? So let's see how we can create directory. For creating directory, you can use mkdir command, mkdir and the directory name. Let's say directory name is d1. So that's gonna create a directory with name d1. Okay. If I list files and folder using ls command, now it's showing me d1, right? So d1 is a directory. And if I want to remove this directory, I need to use rmdir command, rmdir d1. So that will remove the directory. So how we can make the directory? For making the directory, we need to use mkdir command. And for removing the directory, we need to use rmdir command. Okay, so let's move to the next command. Next command is for making the file. So if you want to make any file like file1.txt, you can use touch command. Touch command is useful for making the file with 0 byte size. Okay, so here it has created this file using the touch command. Okay, if I want to write any content in it, I can use leafpad text editor, leafpad file1.txt, and I can write any text in that, like this. This is file.txt. All right. So now let's see how we can delete this file. Okay, first list it using ls command. So it's displaying me file1.txt. So for removing this file, we can use rm command, rm file1.txt. That will remove this file. Okay, so if I list here using ls, so it's not displaying many files and folders, right? So using rm command, we can remove the files. Okay, so let's think you have written something in file1.txt. Okay, like this is file1.txt, and you have saved it using Control S. Now just make one more file. Okay, and I'm making one more file, file2.txt. Now if I list here, it's displaying me file1.txt and file2.txt, right? If I want to copy the content of file1 to the file2.txt, I can use cp command. Cp command is useful when I want to copy the content of file1.txt to the file2.txt. So before copying the content, I will display you what is inside the file1.txt. So we check the file1.txt using cat command. So it's displaying us this is file1.txt, right? So let's check the content of file2.txt. Okay, is it displaying us something? It's not displaying us anything, because in file2.txt we didn't write any content, right? Whereas in file1.txt we wrote this is file1.txt. So let's copy the content of file1.txt to the file2.txt using cp command. Cp file1.txt to the file2.txt. Here you have to mention the path. As we are in the same directory, so there is no need to mention the path. We can directly write the file name. Okay, so this is gonna copy the content of the file1.txt to the file2.txt. So if I check the content of file2.txt now, so it is having the content. This is file1.txt. So using copy command, we can copy the content of one file to the another file. Okay, and using cat command, we can display the content of the file. Okay, so let's move to the next command. We have one more editor like leafpad. We have nano editor. Nano is a text editor. So I will make one file, f1.txt. I'll write something in that. This is f1.txt. Okay, and if I want to save it, I need to click on Control S and then Y, and then now it's Control X, then Y, then hit enter. That's gonna save your file. Okay, so using nano command, nano is a text editor, and we can write something into the file1.txt, and even it is useful for making the file. Okay, so if I want to display the content of f1.txt, what command I can use? The cat command, right? Okay, so let's move to the next command. Next command is move command, mv command. Okay, if I list here my files and folders inside this desktop directory, I can use ls command. Okay, if I want to move the content of f1.txt to the file2.txt, so I can use mv command. Mv command works like cut and paste. Okay, when you cut the file and you paste it in some other destination or paste it in another path, it works the same. Okay, we'll write mv and f1.txt, then file2.txt. Here you just have to mention the path. Okay, as we are in the same directory, so no need to mention the path. We can directly mention the name. Okay, so that's gonna move the content of f1.txt to the file2.txt. So let's hit enter, and let's again check ls. So here we can see that f1.txt is not there, right? And as it moved to the file2.txt, let's check the content of file2.txt using cat command. Here can you see, guys, the content which was present inside f1.txt, now it is inside the file2.txt. So using mv command, we can move the content of one file to the other file. Okay, now the next command is man command. If you want to check the manual page of any command, like if I want to check the manual page of ls command, I can type man and ls. That's going to show me the manual page of ls command. So ls command is list directory content, and if you want to quit from here, you can use q option. Okay, so if I press q, that will quit from that page. Okay, so the next command we have, let's check the manual page of man. Okay, if I want to check the manual page of man command, I can use man and man. That will display me the manual page of this man command. All right, so let's open the terminal and we'll explore more commands. So the next command, if you want to check the host name of this machine, okay, just type host name. That will display you the host name. Like in my case, my host name is Kali. All right, and next command, if you want to check the name, you can type uname. That will display the name. Uname is Kali. Uname is Linux, right? So now the next command is we have is if we want to download something from the internet, Okay, like if I want to download, let's go to ngrok. If I want to download ngrok, I'll go to ngrok and download, right? And here I'll click on Linux and we'll choose the version like x8664, and here just click on that, and then right click and then copy link. Okay, if I want to download it from terminal, I can use wget command. Wget command is useful when you want to download the content from the internet. Okay, so that's going to download the ngrok from the internet. All right, as you can see, it has downloaded the ngrok from the internet. So I'm removing it, okay, using rm-rf command. So means I'm removing it forcefully. Okay, so if I want to download using another command, I can use curl command to download the ngrok. Okay, so ngrok, you can download using wget command and the curl command. Okay, so let's copy the link. Copy link. Not only ngrok, anything from the internet, you just have to copy the link and use wget command or the curl command. So it's showing something binary output can mess up your terminal. Use output to tell. So let's use the option not here. Output new dot zip. Okay, so it's started downloading it. As we can see, it has downloaded this ngrok and it created a zip file new dot zip. Right. That's it for this video. We'll see more commands in the next video. Now we'll see the chmod command in Linux. The chmod command in Linux is used to change the permission of file or directory. It allows you to control who can read, write, or execute a file. So the basic syntax of chmod is, first you have to write chmod, and here you have to specify the options. Okay, options are additional settings, and then the permissions, what permission you want to give, like read, write, or execute, and then the file name. Okay, it can be file or the directory you want to change the permission. Okay, so let's see how we can use it. First, let's create a directory using mkdir chmod1. Okay, and then we'll understand how we can use chmod command, and let's move to this directory chmod1. Okay, now we are inside chmod1, right? So let's make a file here using leafpad. Okay, leafpad file1.txt. We'll write something in that. This is a private file. Okay, and we'll save it. Then let's check the permission for this file. ls minus, using ls minus la command. Okay, so to this file, ls minus la, and then mention the file name. File name is file1.txt. Okay, so here we can see this dash means it is a file. If it's showing us the d, then t means the directory. So let me create a directory, then we'll show you what I mean by that. So if I type here ls minus la and d1, so it is showing me d. So d means the directory. So this directory is having this permission: read, write, and execute. R means read, W means write, and X means execute. Okay, this RWX is for honor, and the next read, write, execute, this is dash 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 means no permission. Okay, so that is for the group, and the next is for this R dash and X is for group, and R dash X is for others. Okay, so we'll see that how we can change the permission for group, honor, or for others, how we can change it using chmod command. Okay, hope you got what is d and what is dash. Here d means the directory, whereas this dash means it is a file. Okay, so the owner is having the permission to read the file, write the file, and the owner doesn't have the permission to execute the file. Okay, but the others, they are having the permission just to read the file. They don't have the permission to write the content in that. Now we'll see how we can change the permission of this file1.txt. So type chmod. Let's again type ls minus la file1.txt. Here we can see read write permission is for the owner, right? So let's try to execute this file using /file1.txt. So it's showing us no such file or directory, right? Because it is file1.txt. So it is showing us permission denied. Why it is showing us permission denied? As I told you, because the owner doesn't have the permission to execute this file. Okay, so if I give the permission for the file execution using chmod command, chmod, then mention u. Okay, u means we are giving the permission to the owner. Okay, u and the permission that you want to give. Like I'm giving the permission to execute the file. So for that I'm giving +x and the file name. File name is file1.txt. So let's check the permission using ls minus la command. So now it's showing us rwx for That is for owner, right? Now if we try to execute this file, it is showing us this file.txt1 thus not found. So let's check what we wrote in that file, 1.txt. This is a private file. Okay, so let's change it to something else. Let's write a bash script in that echo, and we'll print the statement using echo command. Print the statement using echo. Okay, when we will execute this file, it's gonna print the statement. We'll save it, and now I will execute file1.txt. Now it is printing this is file1.txt, right? So if I check the permission of file1.txt, it is having the permission for the execution. So like this, you can change the file permission using chmod command. Now if we want to check the permission of file2.txt, we can use the command ls-la and file2.txt. That will show us the permission for file2.txt. So we can see read write, and this dash means there is no permission for execution of this file, right? So if I want to give the execute permission using chmod, just type chmod, and for the owner I need to give u+x and the file name. File name is file2.txt. So that will change the permission to execute, that we can execute this file. If I check it using ls-la, that's showing me r_x for the owner, right? So same if we want to give it for group, we need to mention ls-, we need to mention chmod g for group, plus if I'm giving write and execute permission to the group, I need to type w1x, and next is the file name. File name is file2.txt. So that's going to give the read, write, and execute permission to the file2.txt. And if I check it using ls-la, that's showing me for owner and for the group, they are having all the permission like read, write, and execute. But for others, they don't have write and execute permission. So let's give them this write and execute permission. So if you want to give write and execute permission to the others, just type o plus w(x). That's going to give read and write permission, read and execute, not read and write. It's write and execute permission to the file2.txt. Okay, so if we want to give write and execute permission to the file2.txt, we can use this command. Okay, o plus w(x), that will give permission to file2.txt. Okay, for writing and executing. If we check it now using ls-la file2.txt, we can see the owner, the group, the others, they all are having the read, write, and execute permission. And now if I want to remove the permission, okay, so let's write something in this file. Yes, I'm writing like file1.txt. This is file1.txt. Okay, and if I check the permission of the file1.txt, now we can see the file1.txt is having the permission to for reading and for writing. So if I check it using cat command, if I read the file using cat command, so it's showing me, it's displaying me this is file1.txt. But if I remove this read permission from this file1.txt, how can I do that? I need to mention, write the command chmod, and I'm removing this permission from the owner. So if you are removing the permission from the owner, just type u minus and read. Okay, so that will remove the read permission from file1.txt. If I try to read this file1.txt, it's showing me permission denied. Hope you got it, how you can add the permission and how you can remove the permission from the file. So if you guys want to give full permission to the owner and the group and to the others, you can use this command chmod ugo plus r_x and just mention the file name. That's going to give all the permission to this file1.txt. Okay, now we'll see what is chmod calculator. Okay, so here using chmod calculator, you can calculate the permission, Linux permissions. Like if I want to give the read permission to the owner, I can mention this number 400, and I need to mention the file name. Okay, let's check how we can use this. So like if I want to give just the read permission to file1.txt, first we can see we have all permission, right? We have full permission to the owner, to the group, and to the other users, right? Now let's see how we can by number, how we can change the permission. So if I want to give just read permission using the numbers, okay, I need to type chmod, and the number is 400. 400 means we are just giving the read permission to the owner. Okay, so if I write chmod 400 file1.txt, that's gonna give just read permission to file1.txt. So if I check the permission for file1.txt, so it's just telling me that just read permission for this file1.txt, right? So using the chmod calculator, you can change the permission. Like if you want to give, if you are writing this number 440, it means you are giving read permission for the owner and to the group, but not to the public. Okay, but if you are writing 444, it means you are giving the read permission to the owner, to the group, and to the public. Okay, but if I want to give all the permissions, then I can use this number 777. That means I'm giving full permission to to all the entities. Okay, chmod and 777 and then file1.txt. Okay, that's gonna give the full permission to the owner, to the groups, and to the public. So we can see RWX for the owner, RWX for the group, and read, write, execute for the public. Okay. So in the chmod calculator, for reading the file, the value is 4, and for writing it, the value is 2. Okay, and for executing it, the value is 1. Okay, it's total 7. If you're mentioning 777 and the file name, means you are giving all the permissions. Okay, so hope you guys got what is chmod and how you can use chmod for giving the permission or for changing the permission for the file. Guys, now let's explore more commands of Linux. If you want to make a zip file of this f1.txt, just type zip and f1.zip and just mention the file name that you want to zip. Okay, so that's gonna zip the file f1.txt and that will create f1.zip file. If I check using ls command, you can see it has created f1.zip file. So now if I want to unzip it, first let's remove this f1.txt using rm command. Okay, so now if I want to unzip this file, I can use unzip and then f1.zip, so that will extract all the files from f1.zip file. Okay, so you can see it has extracted this f1.txt from f1.zip. So using zip command, we can make a zip file, and using unzip command, we can extract all the files from the zip file. Now, if I want to display the information about processes, how can I display that? So first, if you want to clear the screen, you can write clear command. Clear command will clear this entire screen. Okay, or you can click on Ctrl+L. That will also clear the entire screen. Now, if I want to display the information about processes, I can just write the command ps. That will display information about processes. Okay, and if I want to kill any process, I need to type kill and just mention the process ID, PID. Okay, so here the PID is 1523. That will kill this process. So the next command we have is df. Df command will display information about disk space uses. So as you can see, it's showing me the file system and the blocks used in that, 1K blocks, used available space. Okay, so that's gonna show you the information about disk space uses. Okay, so let's create one file. We'll create one file using leafpad, like file1.txt, and we'll write something into it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, 11 12. I'm writing here 13 14 15. From 1 to 15 I've written in this file1.txt. Now if I want to display the first 10 numbers in the file1.txt, I can use the command head and just write the file name. File name is file1.txt. So that's going to display me the first 10 lines of this file1.txt. Okay, the head command will display the first 10 lines of this file1.txt. So if I want to display the last 10 lines, then I can use tail command. Tail command will display me the last 10 lines of this file1.txt. Okay, but if I want to display only first 5 lines, then I can write head -5 or -5 file1.txt. That will display me first 5 lines of this file1.txt. Here you just have to mention the number, how many lines you want to display. Like if I want to display first 15 lines, I can write a -15. That will display me -15, total 15 lines. Okay, and if I want to display last 5 lines, I can write tail -5 and the file name. That will display me last 5 lines of file1.txt. Now next command we have is echo. If you want to make a text file using echo command, you can make it using echo and this greater than sign and just write the file name. So that's the syntax of creating the file using echo command. So if I type ls, so we can see it has created f2.txt. So guys, if you want to print something on the terminal, you can use echo command. That can even print something on the terminal. Okay, so if you want to write some text inside this file, you just have to mention echo and then there's double braces and greater than sign and the name of the file. So here we can see name of the file is f2.txt. Okay, so if we check the content of f2.txt, we can see the content inside f2.txt is hello. So using echo command, you can write into something in the file and you can create a file, right? So next command we have is date. If you want to check your current date, you can use date command. That will display you the current date. Now next command is, if you want to check the calendar, you can use cl command. Cl command will display you the calendar. Okay. And if you want to see all the history of all the commands, you can use history command. History command will display you the history of the commands. Okay. And now if you want to check for a file, if you want to find any file, you can use find command. So let's use this in this directory, home and Kali. We'll try to find F1. Okay. So we can see there are lots of file F1. So using find command, you can find any directory or you can find a file. Now let's see how we can search for a specific pattern in file. So we can use grep command for searching for a specific pattern inside a file. So if I list here the files, here we can see f2.txt is present inside this grep directory. And if I want to check the content inside this f2.txt, I can use cat command that will display me the content which is present inside this f2.txt. So here I can see in the f2.txt it is having hello, hi, AA and something else, right? So if I want to search for hi inside this f2.txt, then I can use f2.txt and then this pipe sign and just write grep and hi. So that's gonna filter this hi inside this f2.txt. So if you're looking for any pattern inside any file, you can use the grep command. Okay. Now let's see more commands of Linux. If you want to add groups, okay, or if you want to add users inside Linux, then you can type user add and the username you need to write. So let's add a user hacker inside this Linux. So here we can see that it's showing us permission denied because we are not a root user. Okay. So let's write sudo that will give you permission to add this hacker user. So we can see that it has added this hacker user. So if you want to look that the user hacker is added or not, you can see it in etc past wt. That will display you that hacker is added inside the Linux. Okay. Now, if you want to make a group, you can make it using group add and just write the group name. So I'm writing here hackers group. Okay, that's going to create a group, hackers group. So here we can see again it's showing us permission denied. So I need to write sudo and then group add hackers group. So that will make a group, hackers group. So if I check it again, but here it's going to show it in etc/groups, not groups, it's group. So you can see it has added hackers group, okay, with this GID. Okay, so now let's see how we can switch the user. If we want to switch the user from Scali to hacker, we can write su and the name. Okay, so that will switch from the Scali to hacker. So now it's displaying us the authentication failure. As we can see, we didn't set any password for this hacker. So let's add a password using passwd command, passwd, and we'll add the password for hacker. So it's saying us that you may not view or modify password for hacker. So let's use sudo command again, passwd hacker, and now we can set the password for hacker. Now if I want to switch the user from Kali to hacker, I can write this command as u and mention the name of the user and just mention the password. So we can see we are inside this hacker user, right? So now if I want to exit from here, I can type exit command that will exit from this hacker user. Okay, so if I want to display the files inside this grep directory, what command I can use? ls command. So ls command will display me the files inside this grep directory. If I want to check the permissions and who is the owner and where the file is present, I can use ls-la command and just mention the file name. So that's showing me the Joker is the owner for this f2.txt, and Joker is having the permission to read and write the file, whereas Kali is a group which is having the permission. The Kali, this group is having the permission just to read the file, and others they also have the same permission. So if we want to change this user to hacker, we can use chown command and just write the name of the user and then mention the file. So that will change the owner of this file using this chown command. Okay, so it has changed the ownership of f2.txt. No, it is showing us operation not permitted. So again, we need to use sudo command, sudo chown hacker and f2.txt. That's gonna change the ownership of f2.txt. So we check it again. So that's displaying us. Now the owner is the hacker and this file is present inside this Kali group, right? So now if we want to install any files, if we want to install any packages inside this Kali Linux, for that we can use apt command. Apt command can install packages. Like if I want to install neofetch. So now it's showing me that permission denied. So let's being a root user. If you want to become a root user, this dollar is this dollar means you are just a normal user. But if you want to become a root user, just use sudo su. So you will become the root user. Okay. Now if we want to install something like neofetch, we can install it using apt install neofetch. So it's displaying us that it is already installed. Okay. So if we type this neofetch, that is displaying the system information. Okay, let's type it again. So that is displaying the OS, host name, kernel, the uptime, all these things are displaying us using neofetch command. So if I want to display the system uptime, there is a command that we can use. Command is uptime. So that will display me the system from how long the system has been running. Okay, and who is running the system? If I want to check, then for that I can use who command. Okay, so here it's displaying Kali, and the time it's displaying me. So the next command we have is finger command. If finger is not installed in your operating system, then just install it using apt install finger. That will install this finger tool. Okay, so as it is already installed in my system, I will type finger and the username. Okay, so that's the syntax for this finger tool. So that will display me the information of this Joker user. So it's showing me Joker login Joker directory is this one, and now we're logged in. Okay, so if I want to display the information of hacker user, I can type finger and the username is hacker. So it's showing now we're logged in, no mail, no plan. Okay, so using this finger, you can inspect the user. Next command we have is what is. If you want to check a short description of any command, you can use what is command. Like if I want to see the short description of ls command, I can use ls what is command, what is, and the command. Okay, that will display me the short description of this ls command. So ls command is useful for listing directory contents. Next command we have is figlet command. If you want to display the text banner, you can use figlet and just write the name that you want to see as a banner. So it is displaying me hello as a banner. So using figlet command, you can display the text as a banner. Next command we have is apt update. If you want to update your system, you can use apt update command. Okay, so apt update command is useful for updating the system. It will refresh the packages in your system. Now it's taking time, so let's move to the next command. Next command we have is apt upgrade. So type apt upgrade. Apt upgrade command will upgrade the packages to the latest version. Okay, so it is gonna take some time. So let's open another terminal. I will check another command. So guys, here is one more command, bc command. That's for calculating the numbers. So that's a calculator, basic calculator. Like if I want to calculate 1 plus 2, it's showing displaying me 3. Okay, so if you want to do any basic calculation, you can use bc command. And now if you want to install any tool, or if you want to clone any repository from GitHub, you can use git clone command. So let's move to GitHub and we'll install a tool that is Mr. Fist tool. So if I want to install this Mr. Fist tool, I can use git clone command. Okay, so let's see how we can install it. It's taking time to load. So just click on this code and then this copy icon, and then open your terminal, and then you need to type git clone and then paste the URL. That will install the Mr. Fist tool. Now if you want to shut down this operating system, you can use shutdown command. Shutdown command will shut down this operating system. Okay, shut down and then H, and now that will shut down it now. Guys, in this video we'll explore networking concepts and delve into some advanced Linux commands. So the first command we have is, if you want to check your IP address, you can use config command. That's going to show you your IP address. Okay, that in my case my IP address is 192.168.174.150. Okay, so using one more command, you can check the IP address. Now we have addr. That's going to show you your IP address. Okay, the next command we have is ping. Ping command is useful when you want to check the host is active or not. For example, I want to check google.com is active or not. I can check it using ping command. Okay, so it's going to give me the IP address of the google.com. So using ping, we can get the IP address of the google.com, and even it can show the host is active or not. So to display the root packets to reach a destination, we can use trace root and just type here the domain name. That's going to show you how you are reaching the google.com. So here in the router 1, we are getting the response, whereas in the second, third, fourth, we are not getting kind of response. So in the trace route output, this asterisk typically represents packets that have timed out or were lost during the trace route process. Each asterisk indicates a failed attempt to receive a response from a router along the route to the destination. So when you run a trace route, the tool sends a series of packets to the destination, and each router along the way is expected to send back an ICMP packet. Okay, ICMP echo reply. However, due to various reasons such as network congestion, firewall rules, or router configuration, not all routers may respond to the trace route request. Okay, so the next command we have is ARP scan, and -L. So that's going to scan for devices on the local area network using ARP. It's not scan, it's scan. So the devices which is present inside your local area network, that's going to show you all the IP addresses of your local area network. Okay, like inside this network, two devices are connected. Like one is this one and the second one is Metasploitable. So if I want to check that this command gave me the IP address of Metasploitable machine or not, I can check it using fconfig. So you can see that I got the IP address of this Metasploitable machine, which is connected to the same network, right? 192.168.174.146. So using ARP scan -L, we can get the IP addresses of the devices which is connected to the same network. Now the next command we have is net discover. Okay, so what the net discover command can do? So using net discover command, it discovers the host on the local area network by actively sending ARP request. So same, we will get the IP address of the Metasploitable machine using this net discover command. Okay, so if you want to get the IP addresses of the machines that are connected to your network, you can get it using either ARP scan or using net discover. Okay, so here we can see the result of this command. Here we got the IP address of the Metasploitable machine, which is 192.168.174.146. So we can see these two machines are connected to the same network that we call a local area network. So if you want to get the IP addresses of the local area network, you can use net discover command or you can use ARP scan. Okay, so here we can see it is scanning, but we'll stop the process now. So there is one more tool that can do the same. You can perform a network scan on the specific IP range using nmap. So nmap is a tool that can perform this kind of scan. Okay, so just write the IP 192.168. So if you want to check our IP address, it's 192.168.174. So let's take these 3 byte as network bits and the 1 byte as the host. Okay, so how we can do that? We can use the command nmap 192.168.174. Okay, and it's going to start from 0 because we want to scan 256 host. Okay, so we'll use /24. /24 means it is taking as these 3 byte as network bits and other as host bits. Okay, so as we can see, it has scanned the network with 256 hosts. So it has started with 192.168.174.1. Okay, and here we got the IP address of this Metasploitable machine, and even we got what are the ports which are open, right? So using nmap, ARP scan, and net discover, you can get the IP address of the machine which is connected to your network. Hope you guys got it. So we'll cover more commands in the next video. Let's explore more commands of Linux. So here we have Hydra tool. Hydra is a tool for cracking the password. So let's crack the password of this machine, Metasploitable machine. Now we can see the IP address is 192.168.174.146. Alright, so you need to mention the username. Username is msfadmin, and just mention the password list, and then this //the IP address. Okay, then just hit enter. That's going to crack the password for this Metasploitable machine. Now we can see if we log in using msfadmin, then we can get into the Metasploitable machine. Okay, so using Hydra tool, you can crack the password. Next command we have is DNSenum. DNSenum is command for gathering the information regarding the domain name. Okay, so let's gather information about this domain name, test PHP 1web. Okay, just type this command DNSenum and just copy this domain name. Okay, and just hit enter. So that's gonna show the information regarding the domain name. So here it's showing that NS record query failed. So let's try on some other domain name. Okay, let's try it on www.hackathon.com. So you can see some information regarding host addresses. Alright, the IP addresses we are getting, and NS record query failed. So let's explore more commands. Next command we have is DNS recon. It's also for gathering the information regarding the domain name. So let's use test PHP again. So it's showing us we need to mention -d and then type the domain name and just hit enter. It's again it's showing something could not resolve domain. Okay, so let's take just testphp.oneweb.com. Now we are getting some information regarding it. It's saying DNSSEC is not configured for testphp.oneweb.com and testphp.oneweb.com. It's showing the IP address for this and more information regarding this DNS. Okay, so if it is not configured, it means the person can do DNS poisoning attack on this website. Okay, now guys, if you are looking for an exploit, you have the version of the operating system and you are trying to search for an exploit. So the command is search exploit. Like if I'm looking for Apache 2.2, 2.4 exploit, I can search exploit Apache 2.4. So that's going to show me all the exploit present for this Apache 2.4. Okay, so using this command, you can search for exploit. The next command we have is nicto. Nicto is a web server scanner that will show you all the vulnerabilities by scanning this domain. Okay, this website. So now it's showing us multiple IP found. Okay, guys, next command we have is cwl. CWL can generate custom word list based on the website content. So I'm generating the word list based on this testphp.oneweb. Okay, so that's going to generate the word list based on this website. Okay, it's taking time. So let's move to the next terminal. So we have one more tool, that's C Toolkit. It's a social engineering toolkit that you can use to perform social engineering. If you want to open it, type the command C Toolkit, sudo C Toolkit, and type the password. That's going to open this social engineering toolkit. As we can see, it has generated the word list word.txt. If we want to check it, we can check it using cat command, cat word.txt. That's going to display you all the words, and these all the words are related to that website. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll see you in the next video. Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how to install and configure the Metasploit framework on your system. Let's get started. So to install the Metasploit, just type apt install Metasploit framework. So this will download and install the Metasploit along with all its dependencies. Alright, so just hit enter. And now it's time to configure the PostgreSQL. Okay, so as Metasploit uses PostgreSQL as its primary database server, so we need to make sure it is running and set to start on boot. So if you want to check the status of PostgreSQL, if it is running or not, just type systemctl status PostgreSQL. Okay, this is gonna show you if it is running or not. So you can see it is currently active. So if it is not active in your system, just type systemctl and then start PostgreSQL. So this is gonna start the PostgreSQL. All right. And if you want to stop the PostgreSQL, you just type systemctl stop PostgreSQL. So if you want to enable the PostgreSQL to start on boot, just type systemctl enable. All right, enable PostgreSQL. So this will start the PostgreSQL. Whenever you boot your system, it will automatically, start the PostgreSQL for you. And now let's initialize the Metasploit database. So for that, type msfdb init. Okay, so this will initialize the Metasploit database. So it is showing me that database already started. All right, so if you want to check the status of it, just type msfdb status. So you can see it is showing me that it is enabled and it is active, right? So now let's start the Metasploit framework. Just type msf console and this is gonna start the Metasploit framework. So once inside the Metasploit console, verify the database connection by typing db_status. So you should see a message indicating that database is connected. So you can see connected to MSF, right? So if it is not displaying you connected to MSF, then you need to connect it manually. All right. So how to connect it manually? Just type db_connect, then -y. Then we have as user, share, then Metasploit. Okay. And then framework, config /database.py. Okay, then hit enter. This will connect to the database manually. And that's it. You have successfully installed and configured the Metasploit framework. Now you're ready to start exploring and using the Metasploit for your security research and testing. Thanks for watching. In this lesson, we'll exploring the power of workspaces in Metasploit. So workspaces help you to keep track of all your hosts, scans and activities, allowing you to organize your data efficiently based on your target. So let's dive into how you can create, manage and switch between multiple workspaces using MSF console. First, let's launch MSF console by typing MSF console. Alright, so once MSF console is up and running, you can list all available workspaces using the workspace command. Now type workspace. So you will see a list of current workspaces. Initially there may be only one workspace, that's the default workspace. Alright, and you can see this red star as you're currently in this workspace. Okay, so if you want to change your workspace, just type workspace W1. Then now if you check the workspace, just if you list the workspace, then you can see my current workspace is W1. So if I want to add the workspace, how I can add it? Just type workspace -a and then the workspace name. Let's add W2. So you can see it has added this workspace W2, right? So if I list the workspaces, then just type workspace. You can see my current workspace is W2 and we have total 3 workspaces. First one is default, second is W1 and the third one is W2, right? So if I want to delete this W2 workspace, then just type workspace -d W2. So it will delete the workspace, okay, and it will switch to the default workspace. Alright, and if you want to rename the workspace, like if I want to rename this W1 workspace to W2 workspace, then type workspace -n-r and the workspace name, like in my case it is W1, and I will rename it to W2. Okay, first I will show you that how many workspaces are there. So just type workspace, it will list the workspaces. You can see we have these 2 workspaces, W1 and default. So let's rename the workspace by typing workspace -r, then the name of the workspace and to what name you want to rename. Okay, so just hit enter. So it has renamed this workspace W1 to W2. Alright, so let's check using workspace command. You can see now we have W2 workspace and the default workspace, right? So this is how you can rename the workspace. If you want to check the host which is present inside this workspace, just type host command. It will show you the host available in this workspace. Currently there is no host, right, in this workspace, in this default workspace, right? So let's add a host. So we'll scan this host 192.168. We'll scan the Metasploitable 2 machine. Alright, so you can see the IP address of this Metasploitable 2 machine 192.168.174.160. So we'll type 160. Okay, so if we type now the host command, you can see it has added this host, right, this address and the MAC address of the Metasploitable 2 machine, right? Address and the MAC address and the OS name, it hasn't detected it. So if you want to detect the OS name, you can just type SNV, it will detect the version of it, -sv, okay, service and the version of the operating system. So if we type now host command, so you can see our operating system is Linux in this Metasploitable 2 machine, right? So if you want to list the vulnerabilities in it, you can type vulns command. Okay, it will list the vulnerabilities in this operating system. So for now we didn't scan for the vulnerabilities. If you scan for the vulnerabilities in this system, it will list all those vulnerabilities in this. Okay, it will store all the things in the current workspace. So if we see the workspace now, we have the default workspace, right? So it is storing all the things in the current workspace. That's the default workspace. Alright, so hope you got what is the workspace and why workspace is important in penetration testing. So while leveraging workspaces, you can easily manage multiple projects and keep your data well organized, right? That's all. Thanks for watching. In this lesson, we'll dive into MSF console, the powerful command line interface for Metasploit framework. Whether you're a beginner or experienced penetration tester, MSF console is an essential tool for managing and executing your security assessments. So let's start by understanding what MSF console is and how to use it. So MSF console provides an easy to use, all-in-one interface that gives you access to all functionalities of the Metasploit framework. So first let's launch MSF console by typing MSF console. Now you will see the Metasploit banner and be taken to the Metasploit prompt. Okay, so here you can see the Metasploit banner and to be taken to the Metasploit prompt. So if you want to change the banner of it, just type the banner command. This is gonna change the banner. All right. So whenever I'm typing this banner command, it is changing the banner, right? So if you want to check the help page of it, just type help. Okay. So the help command will show the help page of Metasploit framework. All right. Like you can see this question mark means you can just help menu, or the banner command will display you the awesome Metasploit banner. So here you can see all the commands with the description. Now let's see how you can search for modules. So if you want to search for modules, like to find port scanning modules, just type search and port scan. Okay, so this is going to show you all the modules related to port scan. You can also search with type, name, or CV. For example, if you want to search for the type auxiliary modules, just type auxiliary. Okay, so this is going to display you all the modules contain auxiliary. All right, so these auxiliary modules are used for tasks such as scanning, fuzzing, and gathering information about targets. Now if you want to search for the specific module name, for example, if you are searching for the module port, just type name and this colon port. So this will search for the module contains port. Okay, we'll search for all the auxiliary modules contains port that include port in their name. So it helps narrow down modules related to port scanning or services running on specific ports. Now if you're searching for common vulnerabilities and exposures from the year 2018, then just type search CVE. Okay, 2018. So this is gonna find the exploits or tools targeting vulnerabilities disclosed in 2018. Okay. Okay. Now let's select a module. So we'll search for the port scan module and we'll select a module from it. Let's select this module. Let's select this sixth module. Okay, for SYN TCP SYN port scanner. So if you want to select this module, just type use 6. Okay, so this will select the module, this module auxiliary /scanner /port scan /SYN. Or there is one more way to select it. Okay, just type use and mention this name. Okay, auxiliary /scanner /port scan and /SYN. All right, so this is gonna choose the same module. Now let's check the options in this module. If you want to check the options in this module, just type show options. This is gonna show you all the options in this module. Let's set the necessary option now. So if you want to set necessary options, just use the set command. Okay, set command will set the options. Like if I want to set this R host is the target host. So the target host in my case is 192.168.174.160. So this is the host of the Metasploitable 2 machine in my case. Okay, so just hit enter. This is going to set the R host as 192.168.174.160. You can also globally set variables using setg and verify them with getg. So just type setg R host and the IP address of the machine. Okay, and just hit enter. So by setting a global variable, you apply a configuration parameter across all modules, avoiding the need to set it for each module individually. So if you want to unset this global variable, just type unset g. Okay, and the R host. Okay, it will unset the R host. And now if you want to verify it, just type get g and the R host. All right, so this is how you can set the R host and you can unset the R host. Now let's use a different auxiliary module. So we'll search for port scan. Okay, and we'll use this module. Just mention the name of it /TCP. Okay, you can mention the path or the number of the module. So we are using this module, and let's check the options of it using show options. And now let's set the global variable using setg. Our host 192.168.174.160. So this is IP address of the metasploitable 2 machine in my case. All right, and now I will hit enter. If I want to verify it, then I will use getg command. Okay, so this is the R host, and if you want to unset it, just type unset g R host. All right. If you want to check the detailed information about a module, use the info command. Okay, this is going to show you the detailed information about this module. So you can see the name is TCP port scanner, and this is auxiliary module. Okay, now we'll see how we can search for payloads. So guys, if you want to show payloads in this, just type show payloads. So it is displaying 1400 something payloads, right? So let's search for a specific payload. Just type search, and we'll search for, let's search for payload. Okay, type is payload, and for platform Linux. Okay, and the name will search for SSH. So it is not displaying us any payload related to this. So let's remove this SSH and just hit enter. Now it is displaying us 296 modules, right? So let's use SSH module. Okay, we'll search for payload, and name is SSH. Okay, now it is displaying us this module, right? So if you want to use this payload, just set payload and the number. So here we have number is 1. Okay, it's not payload, it's payloads. Okay, so guys, in this video I will not show you how you can exploit the system, but after exploiting vulnerability on a target system, if you want to list active session on that system, just type the sessions. Okay, that's gonna show you the active session, but for now we'll not go through that. So to save your current configuration state, use the save command. This will save the current configuration. Okay, so you can see saved configuration to /root and .msf4 /config. So it has saved this configuration and this file. Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we are going to dive into port scanning enumeration using Nmap. We'll also integrate Nmap results into Metasploit for further analysis and exploitation. Let's get started. So first, what is port scanning? Port scanning is a crucial step in reconnaissance phase of penetration test, and it helps us understand what services are running on the target system and identifying potential vulnerabilities. So let's perform a port scan and service enumeration using Nmap. We'll use Nmap to perform the port scan. Okay, so here we have this command nmap -ss and then -sp and then -o. Then we have the IP address of the target machine, and then we have -ox, and where we want to output this result. Okay, so this IP address is the IP address of the target machine that I'm using is metasploitable 2. Okay, and metasploitable 2 IP address is this one, 192.168.174.160. Okay, now what are these options and what each option means? So first we have this -ss. So -ss, it means it is conducting a TCP SYN scan, which is fast and stealthy. And the second option that we have over here is -sp. It is detecting the service and versions. Okay, and the third option is for OS detection. Okay, and if we want to store all the results in a file, then we need to use -o. And this X option is for we are outputting the results in XML format, and the file name we have is m1. So let's hit enter. It will scan this host. Okay, And here we have, so it's gonna show us the result. So you can see it is displaying us this result, right? So you can see this port 21 is open, and the service that is running on this port is FTP, and the version of the server. Okay, so you can see it is VS FTPD. All right. So this is how it works. It's gonna scan the host. And now if we want to, import this nmap results into that Metasploit for further analysis. First, let's start the Metasploit. Then I will show you how you can import the result. Just start using MSF console command. And once Metasploit is up, we'll import the nmap results using db underscore import command. So let's import the results. Okay, so here we have this file m1, and if we check the workspace, we are going to store everything inside this default workspace. As you can see, this red star, right? And it is highlighting this default one. So let's import the results using db underscore import, and the file name. The file name is m1. Okay, so this is going to import the results of this file name. You can see importing nmap xml data and importing host. So this is the IP address of the host machine. If we type over here the host command, you can see it has detected all these things: the IP address, the MAC address, the OS name, okay, and the purpose. Okay, if you want to check the services, just type services command. Now let's add a different workspace. We'll add another workspace using workspace command, workspace -a, and we'll add W1 workspace. Okay, so it will create W1 workspace. And now if we want to scan the IP address, here we're going to use db underscore nmap. Okay, first we'll check what's our current workspace. So you can see our current workspace is this one, W1. And now if we scan anything, it will store all the things in this current workspace. So let's use db nmap and the type of, and the IP address of the host machine. So IP address of the host machine is this one, 192.168.174.160. And let's use the same options that we used earlier. So -ss, then -sv for service and version detection, and then OS detection. We'll use -o and just hit enter. So this is gonna store the same result, okay, inside this workspace W1. So you can see it is displaying us the same result that we got using nmap command. So this db underscore nmap you can use in MSF console, okay, in Metasploit framework. Now if we check the host, you can see same thing it is adding, and if we check the services, it is displaying us the same thing, right? So that's it for port scanning enumeration with nmap. So you have learned how to perform a SYN scan, how to detect service versions, and integrate the results into Metasploit for further analysis. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we'll explore how to perform port scan using Metasploit auxiliary modules and how to enumerate services on the discovered open ports. First, let's understand what an auxiliary module is. In Metasploit, an auxiliary module is a type of module that performs tasks other than exploitation. These tasks can include scanning, fuzzing, and service enumeration. They help in gathering information and identifying potential vulnerabilities. Now let's create a new workspace for our enumeration task. So let's type workspace -a, then enum. It will add a workspace name enum. Next, we'll search for port scan module. So just search port scan. Okay, it will search all the port scan module. I'm gonna use this one. Use 6. Okay, /syn. Okay, next we'll see the options for this module. Just type show options, and we'll set the values for it. So in this, we have already set the R host. So if you want to set your R host, just type set R host and the IP address of the target machine. Okay. And next, just type the run command. So this is going to scan all the open ports on a target. So you can see it is displaying us 21 port is open, 22 port is open, right? So if you want to stop it over here, just press Ctrl C. And next let's check the host by typing host command. You can see our host is 192.168.174.160. So if we want to check the FTP version, let's use another auxiliary module for it. So we'll search for FTP version auxiliary module. Okay, just type as auxiliary. Okay, and the name is FTP version. So it is not displaying us any module. So just search for FTP version. So we'll use this module. Type use 0. We'll check the options for this module. So it has already set this rhost. Next, we'll run this command, run this auxiliary module. And here we got the FTP version. Okay. So what service is running on 21 port? On 21 port FTP service is running. And it is running this VSFTPD. Okay. Now let's search for another auxiliary module. So we'll search for FTP login module. Okay, and we'll perform the brute force attack. So use 0. And let's check the options in this module. So these are the options that we have in this module. So you can set the rhost. Okay. And this stop on success to true, because whenever we get the credential, it will automatically stop. So let's set this to true, stop on success. Okay. Next, we'll set the username and password file. So let's set this user password file, which contains passwords separated by space. So I've already created one user password file inside this home and Kali. If I want to check the user password file, I will use the cat command. Okay. Next, I will set the path to this user password file. So the path is home, Kali, and this is the path. Next, I will run this auxiliary module. Okay, so it's going to start the FTP login. So this module attempts various logins. As we can see, it's successfully logged in with the credentials MSF admin, right? And that's how you can use Metasploit auxiliary modules for port scanning and enumerating services. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we'll diving into Nessus, a powerful vulnerability scanner developed by Tenable. Let's get started with understanding what Nessus is and how you can use it to secure your systems. So Nessus is a vulnerability scanner created by Tenable and helps you to identify and fix vulnerabilities in your network before they can be exploited by attackers. First, you need to download Nessus from the official website. Okay, go to tenable.com and download the Nessus from here. Once downloaded, install the Nessus using the command. Just type dpkg, okay, and then -i and just give the path, okay, where you have downloaded it, and then just hit enter. This is going to install the Nessus. After installing the Nessus, we'll start the Nessus service. So just type systemctl start Nessus ust.service. This is going to start the Nessus service. All right. Next, we'll check the status of it. So just type systemctl status Nessus ust.service. So this is going to show you the status of Nessus. Is it running or not? So you can see it is active and currently it is running. So we'll quit from here. Just press Q. Okay. And then open your Firefox and then type 127.0.01 and port number is 8834. Okay. Just hit enter. This is going to open this Nessus login page. So I haven't created the credentials. First create the credential and then log in. Okay. Then click on sign in. After clicking on sign in, initiate a new scan by clicking on new scan. You can click on this new scan and then click on basic network scan. Here you have, you know, lots of templates, scan templates. Okay. So for vulnerabilities, we're going to use this basic network scan. Just give the name. So we are going to give this name to basic scan. Okay. And add any description. So it's a, I will add, it's a basic scan. Okay. And the IP address of the target machine. So in my case, my target IP is 192.168.174.160. Okay. So I will click on save. Okay. So where is this scan? So here is the scan. I will click on this launch icon. It will start the scan. Just wait for few minutes. Once the scan is complete, just click on this basic scan and then you will see list of vulnerabilities detected. All right, now we're going to export this result to Nessus. So here we have this basic scan dot Nessus. All right, now we will import this result into Metasploit framework. So we're going to open the terminal here, open terminal here. All right, let's being the root user. And now let's start the Metasploit framework using MSF console. Now we'll import the result using db import. db underscore import and the file name. So here the file name is this one, basic scan. All right, so this is the file name we have, and just hit enter. So you can see it has imported the result. Now explore the imported data under sections like hosts, services, and vulnerabilities. This type host. Okay, so we have this host, this, the IP address of the target machine and the MAC address. All right, so let's check the services. So these are the services running, like on 21 port FTP services running, right? Now check the vulnerabilities using vulns command. So this is going to list all the vulnerabilities in the target host. Okay. For further analysis and to potentially gain access to the target system, you can use the analyze command. Okay. So here you can see the exploit that you can use that is ready for testing, right? You can see. So we're going to use this exploit and we'll see the options in it. Just run the command show options. This is going to show you all the options in it. And after setting this R host, we can check the payloads. Just type show payloads and then we'll set the payload using set payloads command. And then we're going to use this payload /cmd /unix /rewards. Okay. And then hit enter. I think it is payload. Okay. So after setting the payload, now we can exploit the system. Just type exploit. So you can see it is showing that one or more options failed to validate. So we need to set allhost. Allhost is the IP address of your machine. So if you want to check your IP address, just type config and just copy this IP address and just paste it over here. Okay. Then just type exploit. So we got access to the target system. You can see session 1 is opened. Okay. Now you can run any command like config for checking the IP address, right? So you can see we got access to the target system. That's all for this video. In this lecture, we'll demonstrate how to perform a penetration test on Metasploit Able 2 machine and follow up with some post-exploitation. Remember, this is for ethical hacking purposes only. Let's get started. First, we'll check the IP address of the target machine. Okay, so just open this Metasploit Able 2 machine and type config. So it's going to show you the IP address of this machine. It's 192.168.174.160. Okay, so let's scan this IP address using nmap and map-sv 192.168.174 then 160. Okay, so let's check the open ports and services on this IP address. So I can see on this port 21 this FTP service is running and the version it is using is PSFTPD. Okay, and it is 2.3.4, which is known to have a backdoor vulnerability. So let's use Metasploit framework to exploit this. Okay, just copy this one and we will start the Metasploit framework. Okay, it's starting the Metasploit framework. Okay, and then search for VSF TPD, search VSF TPD, and we're going to use this exploit, this one, use one. Okay, then check the options in this exploit using show options command, and we'll set all the options in this. So our host is already set. It's 192.168.174.160. So it's the target host. Okay, so I will just exploit it. Okay, let's launch it. So you can see it has found the shell and session 1 is opened. Okay, if we type here ls, we can see it is listing all the files and folders. And if we type present working directory, that's pwd, so we can see we are inside this root directory. Okay, and just press Ctrl Z. This will start. If you want to start the session in the background, just press Y and then type sessions command. Now you can see the active sessions. ID for this active session is 1. So if you want to upgrade your session, just type sessions u then 1. So this is going to upgrade the session, okay, to session 2. Now if you want to interact with the session 2, you can see session 2 is also opened. If we want to interact with the session 2, just type sessions then I then 1 then 2. Okay, so we are inside the session 2. All right, if I type config, this will show me the IP address of the Metasploitable 2 machine. You can see displaying me the IP address of the Metasploitable machine, right? Now let's use Metasploit to dump password hashes for further analysis. Okay, so just exit from here using exit command. And now let's search for some post exploitation modules available for Linux. So we'll search post /Linux /gather. Okay, so let's search for the hash dump. Okay, so we're going to use this exploit, this module we're going to use. Okay, so just type use post /Linux /gather and /hash dump, and let's see the options. So if we set this to 1, this option, the session to run the module on. So set the session to 1, or even you can set to 2, the session to run this module on. So we are gonna run the session on 1. Okay, set session 1, and then just type the command exploit. Okay, so you can see it is dumping all the hashes and just stored these all the hashes in this file. Okay, linux hashes.txt. So let's copy this path and we'll crack the hashes using John the Reaper tool. Okay, so we got the credentials as msfadmin. That's the username and the password of the Metasploit Able 2 machine. So this is the way you can crack these hashes using the John the Reaper tool. And we have successfully cracked several passwords, right? You can see. So these credentials can be used for further post-exploitation tasks. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. In this lesson, we'll demonstrate how to perform penetration test on Windows machine using the Eternal Blue exploit. Remember, this is for ethical hacking purposes only. Let's dive in. First, let's check the network configuration of our attacking machine. So I'm using Windows 7 machine. Okay, so I will open the command prompt and we'll type ifconfig. So you can see the target IP address is 192.168.174.163. Okay, so this is the IP address of the target machine. So let's scan it using nmap. So I'll open the attacker machine and let's open a new tab. Now we'll scan the target machine for open ports and services. So just type -sv for scanning the service and version 192.168.174.163. So this is the IP address of the target machine, and we're going to scan for open ports and services. So let's open another tab and we'll start the Metasploit framework using MSF console. All right. This is going to take some time. So guys, what we're going to do, we'll search for Eternal Blue exploit. Let's search for Eternal Blue. And then use this exploit which contains. So let's Eternal Blue. Okay, that contains Eternal Blue. Okay, so let's use this exploit. Just copy this and just type use exploit /windows/smb /ms17_01 _eternal blue. Okay, just hit enter. And now we'll set the target machine IP address. So as you know, target machine IP address is 192. First, let's check the options. Show options. Okay, so here we can set the lhost. Okay, lhost is your machine IP address, so you can set the lhost, and the rhost is the target machine IP address. It is already set, or you can set it using set rhost or rhost, and then 192.168.174.163. All right. After setting this, you can set the lhost. It is already set, right? So that's your IP address. Okay, where you have to listen. This is a listener address. Now let's launch the exploit. Just type exploit, and we are it. We have successfully gained access to the target machine. Now we have a meet operator session. If you want to capture the screenshot of the target machine, then just type screenshot. Okay, this command will take the screenshot of the target machine. You can see it has saved the screenshot in home Kali downloads, and this is the file name. Okay, so let's open this path. You can see it has taken the screenshot, right? And if you want to check the IP address of the target machine, just type ipconfig because it is a Windows machine. Okay, so you can see this Windows machine IP address, right, that we have scanned earlier. So you can see the result of this nmap scan. We can see this port is open, 135 port is open, and the service and the version, the service which is running on this port and the version of it, right? So these are the ports are open in this. We can see the host name is /strain, this -PC, and the operating system is Windows. That's it. We have successfully exploited a Windows 7 machine using the Eternal Blue vulnerability.
Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will dive into the basics of Burpsuite. Burpsuite is a powerful web application security testing tool developed by the company Podspeaker. It is widely used for penetration testing of web application, helping us to identify and exploit security vulnerabilities. Burpsuite is built on a modular architecture. That means It allows us to customize the tool according to our specific needs. In this lecture, we will explore the core components of Warp Suite, including proxy. This component intercepts and modifies web traffic. It allows us to see and change the data being sent between your browser and the web application. Spider. The spider automatically crawls the web application. It finds all the pages and forms, helping us to understand the entire scope of the application. Scanner. The scanner identifies vulnerabilities automatically. It scans for common security issues like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and many more. Intruder. The intruder performs automated attacks to find weakness. All these components work together to provide a comprehensive security solution. Now, let's take a look at the different editions of Warp Suite. First, we have the Community Edition. This edition is free to use and includes all the essential BER functionalities. This is a great starting point for beginners, but it does have some limitations. It doesn't include automated vulnerability scans, and the speed on the Intruder tab is very limited. That's why we'll use the Professional Edition for this course. This is a paid version for single users. It provides all the main WER features including automated vulnerability scans and allows unlimited speed on request. This edition is perfect for those who need more advanced features. Finally, there is an Enterprise Edition. This is also a paid version, but this is designed for the enterprises. It includes the same feature as the Pro version, but is suitable for the multiple users and applications. One of the features is the dashboard, which allows us to monitor the overall security of the company. This edition is used by the major companies like Cisco, Wells Fargo, PayPal, and NASA. To summarize, Burp Suite is an essential tool for any web application security tester. Whether you are just starting out with the Community Edition or using the advanced feature of the Professional or Enterprise Edition, it provides the tool you need to effectively secure web application. In the upcoming lectures, we will dive deeper into each components of the Warp Suite and we will demonstrate how to effectively use in the real-world scenarios. Stay tuned. Thank you. Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will see how to install the Burp Suite Professional and how we can run Burp Suite in just one tab. First, we will gather the basic resources. In this lecture resources, there is a PDF where I have included the link to download the Burp Suite Professional. Click the link in the browser. This folder will come. Download anyway. Open this folder and unzip it. Extract. Now open another tab and just type Open Logic Java JDK 8. Click on the first link. We will install the Java JDK 8 version to run the Burp Suite Professional. There are some options. Java version is 8. Operating system is Linux. Architecture is 64-bit. Those who are using 32-bit, they can select the 32-bit. And package is JDK. Download .deb file. All the basic resources are gathered. Now we will see the installation. Now open the terminal from where you download the file. Opening terminal. We need to give the executable permission with the command /t +x and the file name. File name is open logic -open JDK and enter. Now we will install the file. Sudo pg I is for installation and again the file name. Press tab. It is getting installed. The file is installed. Now we have to select the file with the command sudo update -alternatives config java. Enter. We have installed the Java JDK 8 version. We will select that version. We need to keep 2. Enter. That's it. Now we navigate to the Bob suite directory. cd Bob suite. Enter. Let's to see all the files. Now we will give executable permission to everyone. We will run es-edition.jar file by java-jar es-edition.jar. Enter. This tab will open after running the file. Simply change the name of the license with your name. So I'll write Isha. Run. Bob suite professional will run. Okay. I accept. Copy this license, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and paste it here. Next. Our next option is for manual activation. Simply copy this request and paste it here. The response is being generated. Copy that response and paste it here. Click on next, finish. Our Bob suite professional is on. You can see here it is coming license to Disha. Click on next, start Bob. The license is activated and Bob suite is running. To open the Bob suite, we need to follow the same process every time, but we can shorten this process with one command. Now we have activated the Bob suite professional. If we will run bob.sh file, our professional Bob suite will run. But the problem is we need to come to the Bob suite directory again and again. So we will shorten this process and we see how we can on the Bob suite in only one tab. We will edit the bob.sh file. For editing the file, we need to give vi bob.sh. No need to give sudo. We will add the path from where we can on our Bob suite. We will see the path. Copy path, copy location. I'll write this location in leaf pad. Inserting permission I. Now you can insert. Here, I'll give the location. So my location is root / top. Bob suite. Everything should be correct, otherwise it will not work. Same I'll write here also in front of jar. Root downloads Bob suite. That's it. Check it once. Click on escape. This is for saving and coming out. Click enter. After saving it, we can run the file from anywhere. But we don't know how to run the file. For that, we need to create a symbolic link. How we will create a symbolic link, we will see. We will create a link. Sudo ln s means symbolic link, and we will create it forcefully. We will give the location of the direct root downloads. Percent part.sh. Where we need to save it? We will give that also. So we'll save it to user local bin, and we will keep it a name. Whatever the name we will keep, when we will give that name, our website professional will know. So we'll give it as website pro. That's it. Our link is created. Now if we will run website from here, it will on. But if we go out from this folder and we'll run here, it will not. No such file or direct. But if we'll give website pro, our website will on from here. So this is how you can activate our website in one tap. We'll click Ctrl C. Every time you can open the website from the downloads. Open the terminal. If you go to the downloads directory, downloads directory, you can on website from here. That's it. In next lecture, we will configure the proxy and we will connect the proxy with the website. Thank you. Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will see what is proxy and how to configure the proxy for using in WebSuite Professional. This component intercepts and modifies web traffic between the browser and the target web application. We will see this in practice. First, we need to configure the proxy, which means connecting the proxy to the WebSuite Professional. In the last lecture, we have activated the WebSuite Professional. I'm going to on it now. WebSuite is on, and now I'll open the browser and go to the add-on section. Add-on and themes. Search for Foxy Proxy. Foxy Proxy. Enter. Click on the first one. Add to Firefox. Add. Okay. Now open the Foxy Proxy option and go to the proxy setting, proxies. We need to connect it to our WebSuite. Click on add. Title as WebSuite. And we need to take the host name and port from the WebSuite proxy settings. So here is a proxy option. So this is the port number and this is the host name. So host name is 127 .0.1 .0.01, and the port number is 8080, and save it. That's it. Now the Bob suit option will appear here. Just click on it. That's it. Our proxy is being configured, but now we need to export the CA certificate so that we can modify the web traffic. So import export CR certificate. We will export it in DER format. Click on next. Select file. File name. I'll give it as sir. Save. Next. Successfully exported. Close it. Now go to the settings. We will find certificate. View certificates. We will import here. Import all files. I will import. Open. Press this. This. Okay. Okay. Our certificate is being imported. Now, if we will write anything here, the request is coming here. Our intercept is on. If I'll forward this request, it will come here. And now we will understand about the proxy tag, how it is helpful to us. So we will visit any website. I'm visiting this website. Here intercept is off. The website will go through the proxy, but it will not be visible here. So I click on it. If I on the intercept, so now our request is visible here. If the proxy tabs are blinking, that means the data is going through it, and our request will be visible in this proxy tab. This is the header tab. You can see any request here, whatever we did. So we visited this website and we again forward our request. So this will come. This is the hexagon code. This is not human readable, but if we needed penetration testing, we can change it. But we focus on the raw data only. This is the HTTP history. 200 request means successful. 101 request means we are changing the protocol. And 204 request means we have requested and the page is modified but nothing information came. Here we can study about the targeted website. The URL of WebSocket connection, the direction of the message, whether it's incoming or going, the length of the response in bytes, and whether we used SSL certificate or not, timing and in which port it is running. From the option tab, we can configure the proxy settings. We already configured our proxy settings, imported CS certificate also. From here, we can control the request of the clients, which request we needed. From here, we can intercept the server responses, which one we need. We can see whether our status code matched or not. We can modify the responses from here. Like we can hide the hidden form fields, remove all JavaScript, remove object tabs, and we can see which web server is passing through the SSL connection. All these about the option tab. And now we come back to the intercept again. If we want to see the response, we can see from here also. Do intercept response to this request. I'll forward. So this is the response, not modified. We didn't do anything in this website. If I visit this website here and I forward the request, and now I'll do response to this request. So we have visited this website. We will use all these tabs in the upcoming lectures one by one. So this is all about the proxy tab. In the next lecture, we will see how to set the target and how to use the target tab. Thank you.
Hi everyone, in this section we'll explore the decoder tab in Burp Suite. Let's dive in. So the decoder tab helps you to decode and code data, and it is divided into 3 sections: input area, operations, and output area. Now, what are the operations? So we can decode and code strings, okay, in various formats. So let's see how we can decode a base64 string. Guys, just paste the string and select decode as base64. So you can see it in a plain text, right? Now let's encode this hello world as a URL. So just choose it, encode as URL, okay? So you can see it in a URL encoded format, and this is a URL encoded base64 string, right? So guys, you can change the operations now. Like if I want to decode the string, I'll choose decode as, and the same format, the URL format. So like this, I can decode or encode any string. Now if I want to close this area, okay, just have to click smart decode. So this will close all those areas, output areas, and here I can type any string like hello, and if I want to encode this, I will choose encode as, and any format like base64, okay, and if I want to decode it, just choose as decode as base64. So that's it for the decoder tab. Practice with different encodings to master this tool, and happy hacking. See you in the next lecture. Hey everyone, we are diving into Burp Intruder, one of the most powerful tools within Burp Suite for automating customized attacks against web application. Let's get started. So Burp Intruder is a tool designed for automating attacks on application. You can use it for various purposes like fuzzing, brute forcing, and parameter enumeration. So let's see how we can use the Burp Intruder practically. First open Burp Suite and make sure your intercept is off. Now let's capture a request from test1web. So open the browser by clicking here open browser and navigate to this site test1web.com. Let's log in with some test credentials. So I will enter admin as username and test1 as a password. Okay. Before hitting login, we'll go back to Burp Suite and we'll on the intercept. Okay. Then click this login button. Now you will see the request being intercepted, right? So send this request to the intruder by right clicking and selecting send to intruder. Now let's configure Burp Intruder. So just go to the intruder tab and let's select the positions. So here you will see the intercepted request, right? So we need to specify which part of the request we want to attack. So we want to attack this username variable and the password variable. So just click here, add $, add this payload as a $, and then select other payload position, and then click again add dollar. Okay, so we have two payload positions here. All right. The next thing what we're gonna do, we'll select the attack type. So in this we have several attack types. Let's go through them briefly. First we have sniper. So sniper, this attack type iterates through a single set of payloads, placing each payload in one position at a time. So if we have only one payload position, like a password position, then we can select this sniper attack. But here we have two payload positions, right? So we cannot select this sniper attack. We have to go for this cluster bomb. Okay. Now what is this battering ram? So battering ram is useful for session token test that we are not doing it right now. And next one we have is pitchfork. So that is useful when you want to test corresponding payloads in parallel, like testing different username password pair from a credential dump. And next we have is cluster bomb. So this is the most exhaustive, iterating through every possible combination of payloads across multiple positions. So this is the one we will be using today. Just choose this cluster bomb, and then we'll go to the payloads tab. Now we can see payload set. Okay, so here we can load the list of usernames, right, from by clicking here load, and you can select the username list. All right, but I'm gonna add it manually. I will add some usernames, like let's add admin1, admin2, root, test. Okay, now we'll select the payload set 2. Just click here, and then we'll add here the password list. Let's add test as password. Okay, then test 3, test 4. You can add it as many as you want, or you can choose the load, this load button, and you can choose from the word list. With our position and payload set, we are ready to launch the attack. So click here start attack. So this burp intruder will now start sending requests with different combination of usernames and password. And as the attack progresses, you can see the results in real time. Now look for any request with different status code or response. So you can see here we are getting the same status code, but in this we are getting a different status code as 200. It means we found a successful login with the username as test and the password as test. So let's try this username, test and test as password. So we'll go to the proxy tab and we'll off the intercept. We'll go to the Chrome. Okay, and then let's try test and test as password. Test as username and test as password. So you can see we are successfully logged into this page, right? So this indicates a vulnerability that needs to be addressed. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, we are going to learn how to use burp repeater. So let's see. Burp repeater is a tool within Burp Suite that allows you to manually modify and resend HTTP request. It is perfect for testing and verifying vulnerabilities. Okay, so let's capture request from test1web. Open this proxy tab and then open the browser. Then we'll navigate to test.php website. And let's log in with some test credentials, like test1 as username and test1 as password. Okay, so let's click login. But before that, we'll make sure our intercept is on. We'll on the intercept, and then we'll click on the login button. Okay, now you will see request being intercepted, right? You can see username is test1 and the password is test1. Now what we can do, we'll send this request to the repeater by right clicking and selecting this send to repeater. Okay, just go to this repeater tab. Here you can see the intercepted request. Now we can modify any part of this request. For example, let's change the username to admin. So we'll change this username to admin, and then we will send this request. Okay, so it is displaying us 302 not found, or we can even render it. So it is displaying us you must log in. Now let's modify the username and password to test and look for any differences in the response that might indicate a successful login. So let's change it to test. Username is equal to test and password is equal to test, and resend this request. So you can see it is displaying us 200 code, means we have successfully logged in using this test as username and test as password. Now if you want to see the visual representation of this HTTP responses, then click on this render tab. This will display you the web pages as they would appear in a browser. Alright. So guys, here you can try any SQL injection payloads and check for SQL injection vulnerabilities. Now what's the main difference between repeater and intruder in Burp Suite? So repeater is used for manually modifying and resending individual requests to test for vulnerabilities, While intruder is used for automating customized attacks on web applications like brute force attacks, and that's how you use burp repeater to test web application. And you can see it is a powerful tool for manual testing and verifying vulnerabilities. And always remember, use this technique ethically and only on application you have permission to test. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, we are diving into burp sequencer to analyze the randomness of session cookies in web application. Let's explore why randomness matters and how to use burp sequencer effectively. So first, what is session cookies? Session cookies are temporary cookies used to maintain a user session while they navigate through a web application. However, if these cookies are predictable or have patterns, attackers could potentially hijack sessions. So let's see it practically. So guys, the first step we have is to start the burp suite. Okay. After starting the burp suite, just open the browser. And after opening this browser, just open this site, Jinanju shop, and then click on this icon. Then click on this login. Then we'll log in into the site using the username Carlos. Okay, you can copy it from here. Just paste it. Then click login, and the password is hunter2. After opening this site, we'll on the intercept. Okay, just on the intercept. Again, refresh this page so that it will capture the cookies. Or if you want to check the cookies, just right click here and just click on inspect, and then go to this tab application. You can see the cookies over here. Okay, so let me off the intercept first. Okay, now you can see the session value, right? Again, I will on the intercept and will refresh this page. So you can see it has captured the request. So what I'm gonna do, I will send this request to the sequencer. First, I will verify. You can see the cookies, right? Cookie session is equal to something value it has stored, right? So I will send this to the sequencer just by right clicking over here, and then I will select send to sequencer. After sending this request to the sequencer, I will go to the sequencer tab, and you can see the cookie, it has selected this cookie. All right, you can see the drop down button. Okay, so you can select any cookie from it. So I'm selecting this one, and then I will start this live capture. So just click on this button and will start the live capture. Okay, so if you want to auto analyze it, just take it and then click on analyze now. So it has started capturing these tokens. You can see it is displaying me the overall quality of randomness within the sample is estimated to be excellent. And even you can see the character level analysis. So it is not displaying anything in that. You can see the bit level analysis in this, right? Or even you can do the analysis settings. Okay. So what steps we followed in this? Let's repeat the steps that we followed. First, we open the burp suite, then we set the target, right? After that, we captured the session cookie, and then we are analyzing the results in burp sequencer. So you can click here, analyze now, right? But it is showing you the sample is estimated to be excellent. So you can see burp is providing a detailed analysis, including a summary of the token randomness and statistical tests performed. In our case, we got excellent results, indicating high entropy and unpredictability in the session cookie. So this is exactly what we want to see for secure session management. So strong random session cookies like these are essential for preventing session hijacking. So developers should use secure random number generators and avoid predictable patterns. And they should regularly update session tokens and ensure they are securely transmitted over HTTPS. Alright, so hope you got how to use the sequencer tab. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to set up and use the WASP broken web application in VMware. So this will help you to practice and understand real-world applications vulnerabilities in a safe environment. Let's get started. First, we need to download the WASP VWA file. So just search WASP VWA and then download the latest file to your machine just by clicking download. So after downloading it, let's set up our VMware environment. So just open a virtual machine and just choose that file that we just downloaded and then click here, open. After that, just give any name of the virtual machine. So I'm giving VWA, all right, and just click here, import. So it will import this broken web application. Just wait few seconds. So guys, after importing it, just click here, play virtual machine, and then it will start this machine. So we can see VMWare virtual machine has successfully booted. From here, you can log in with the credentials. Username is root and the password is wasp VMWare. And start using the various vulnerable web applications for your testing and training. Alright, and even you can access all the apps on this IP address. So let's log in again with the username root and the password is wasp VMWare. So you can access the application using this IP address 192.168.174.164. Alright, and that's all. You have successfully set up VMWare in VMware. And from the next lecture, we'll explore some real world testing scenarios. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we covered what a password brute force attack is and how to use proxy, repeater, and router tabs to execute this attack. And we'll see a step-by-step demo of a brute force attack against a login page in a controlled lab environment. So the password brute forcing attack involves attempting several passwords until the correct one is found. This method is commonly used to gain unauthorized access to accounts. In this video, we'll focus on three main tabs. The first one is the proxy tab. We'll see how we can intercept the login request. And the next one we have is the repeater tab. We'll see how we can send a modified packet. And the last one is the intruder tab, where we are going to see how we can send multiple modified packets for brute forcing. So these are the three tabs we'll focus on this video. So let's see it practically. Just start the browser and go to this tab, open browser. Okay, and here you have to type the IP address of the target machine. So I will go to the target machine, that is VMWare, vulnerable web application. Okay, I will launch this machine. Just click here, play virtual machine. So this will start booting the machine. And then I will log in into this machine. Alright. So you can see the username is root and the password is wasp VMWare. Again, I will log in. So you can access this machine by typing this IP address 192.168.174.164. Okay, just open your browser. Just type this IP address 192.168.174.164. This is in my case. In your case, it may be different. And then choose this application DVWA. Just open it. Okay, then you will get this interface where you can log in using the username and the password. After navigating to the target application, we'll go back to the worksuite and we'll see the target tab. We can see in the target tab, this will automatically fill up with target website and this will begin creating a sitemap. So we can add this to the scope. Okay. So that any data collector or analyze will be limited to just this website, excluding all other sites. So let's open the browser and we'll attempt to log in with incorrect credentials. So let's log in using admin and test as a password. Then I will click login. So you can see it is displaying me login failed, right? So I will go to the burp suite and we'll open the proxy tab. Then you just open this HTTP history and just check the post request. Okay, so in the post request, you can see it has captured the username and the password. We'll see how we can use the repeater tab. So we'll send this request to the repeater. Just click here and then select this send to repeater and then just go to the repeater tab. We will manually change the password value and resend the request from here. Alright, so let's change the password value to test1 and then just click here send button and you can see the response here, right? But using repeater for multiple passwords is time consuming, as we have to manually try list of passwords. That will take so much time. So we are going to use the intruder tab. So let's see how we can use the intruder tab. Let's send this request to the intruder just by selecting send to intruder and just open the intruder tab. Now you can see the entire request. So identify the variable to brute force. For example, the password field. Just select this test1 and click here add $. You can see one payload position is set. So the password variable is now set for brute forcing. Alright, and select here the sniper attack type. After that, we'll go to the payloads tab, and then you can load a list of passwords from here, or you can manually add like admin as password, then test1, test2. You can add list of passwords here. After that, just click this button start attack to begin the brute forcing attack. Just click here OK. Now analyze the result and identify the successful attempt. Check for the status code or response length for variations. So here you can see all the requests are having the same status codes, right? And even the length of the request are somewhat similar. So we cannot guess the right password from here, right? And if we check all the requests manually, if we check the response of all the requests manually, it will take so much time, right? Like if we go to this request, you can see it is displaying us location : login.php. It means it is redirecting us to the same site. And if we check the next request where the password is admin, so we can see it is redirecting us to index.php. So that may be the correct password. Okay, so let's see the next request. In the next request, it is redirecting us to login.php. That is the same site. Okay, and even the next request, it is redirecting us to login.php. It means this is the correct password, where it is redirecting us to the index.php. So what we can do, we'll search for the string location : login.php. Okay, if we are getting this string in any request, then we can say the password of the request is not correct. And if you are not getting this location : login.php, then it means it may be a correct password. It may be a right password. So let's go to the settings. Just open the settings tab and clear it. Okay, and then just add location : login.php, and then untick this exclude HTTP headers, because even we want to check it on HTTP headers. Okay, and just add it. Then from here we can restart the attack. Now you can analyze the result. So the missing login.php, that will indicate a successful login. So we can see here it is not displaying us anything like fun. Okay, so it may be a correct password. So let's try login with admin as username and admin as password. Okay, so if we log in with admin as username and admin as password and click login, you can see it is redirecting us to index.php, the home page of the website. Okay, so this is how you can perform the brute force attack. But if both the username and password are unknown, then use the cluster bomb attack type. And in this lecture, we successfully demonstrated how to perform a brute force attack using Burp Suite, focusing on the proxy, repeater, and intruder tabs. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we'll explore cookie tampering attacks, focusing on identifying insecure cookies and modifying their values. Let's start with an example of cookies. So cookie : ID is equal to 100. In this example, the cookie represents an ID. That may be a user ID. So by tampering with these values, an attacker could potentially impersonate another user. So to effectively perform a cookie tampering attack using Burp Suite, we'll be using 4 main tabs: proxy, decoder, repeater, and comparer. So let's dive into each of these tabs and understand their roles in the process. So the first step is to intercept a request that contains a cookie. So for that, we are going to use the proxy tab. And next we need to decode the cookie value if it is encoded. And for that, we're going to use the decoder tab. And once we have decoded the cookie and understood its structure, it's time to tamper with it. So just modify the cookie value as desired. For example, changing ID is equal to 10 to ID is equal to 11. So after modifying the cookie, send the entire request to the repeater tab. In the repeater tab, you can resend the tampered request to the server and observe the response. Finally, we need to analyze the impact of a tampered cookie. So go to the comparer tab in Burp Suite. Here you can compare the original HTTP response with the response received after sending the tampered cookie. Let's understand it practically. Guys, in this demo, we'll tamper with cookies to escalate our privileges. Let's dive in. Open the target application, Ghost, and let's log in using the credential test and test. Test as username and the test as password. And then click login. So you can see it is displaying welcome developer. Use the form below to add to the block. So let's inspect the page. Just right click and click inspect the page and check the cookies. Just go to this application tab and you can see in cookies, we can see user cookies, right? User colon test. So let's change this value to something else. Let's change it to admin. Okay. So changing this value to admin should grant us admin access. So let's refresh this page and just see what it is displaying us. You can see it is displaying us welcome admin. Use the form below to add to the block. So we logged in as admin. And there is another way. You can see there is another cookie, right? When we inspect the page in the application tab, you can see there is another cookie named server, right? With some value. But this value is something is not in a plain text, right? Is a encoded value. So let's see how we can decode it. Now we'll go to Verb Suite and then we'll on the intercept and just refresh this page. So you can see it has captured the request, right? With the cookie, user is equal to admin and the server value. So if we select the server value, you can see this is decoding the server value and the plain text was VMWare, right? Just select this value and you can see it in a plain text, or you can select this text and send to decoder. Okay, and the decoder tab, just click here, decode as, then base 64. So you can see it in a plain text. So guys, in the decoder tab, you can decode or encode the data. For example, you can encode a string test1 using base 64, and then you can change the server cookie value to the encoder string. Now let's go back to the proxy tab and then send this request to the repeater. Select send to repeater, and the repeater tab will locate the username cookie. We can see username cookie is equal to admin. So let's change this value from admin to test. Okay, and just send this request. We will see the response. So you can see in the response, you can see welcome developer. Use the form below to add to the block. And if we change this user is equal to test to admin and resend this request, we can see it is displaying us welcome admin, right? Now let's open this, and now we'll send this response to the comparer tab, okay, to compare the responses. So right click here and send to comparer. All right, now again let's modify this admin to test, user is equal to test, and send this request, and we will send this to comparer. Okay, now in the comparer tab we will compare the two responses. So look at the differences. Just click here, compare words by words or by bytes. So we'll compare by words. Just click here and then look at the differences, the content length and the cookie value, right? You can see the content length is, for this case we have content length 3572, and for this case we have a different content length, and even the date and timings are changed. Date is same but the time is changed, right? And you can see welcome, here it is displaying as welcome admin, and in this case it is displaying as welcome developer. So like this you can compare the responses. That's it. We have successfully demonstrated how to tamper with cookies, to escalate privileges and modify user roles. Always remember to perform this test in authorized environment only. Thank you. In this lecture we'll learn how to identify weak session tokens that might seem secure at first glance but are actually vulnerable. So you can see these tokens. At first these tokens look randomly generated. However, by analyzing the tokens, we can uncover potential weaknesses. So if we analyze the tokens, the only change is the number at the end. So that is indicating these tokens are sequential. So this makes them predictable and susceptible to brute force attacks. So we'll use two main tabs in Verb Suite to analyze session tokens. First, we will intercept the session tokens from the web application using proxy tab. Then identify patterns and analyze the randomness of the tokens using sequencer tab. Let's see it practically. Now let's see how to tamper with session tokens to gain access to another account. So just open the browser and navigate to this IP address and then open VMWare. Then log in using the credential admin as username admin as password, then click login. When you log in, the application generates a session token to manage your user session. So let's go to the Burp Suite and check the HTTP history. Here you can check the post request, okay, in Burp Suite. And then you can see username is equal to admin and the password is equal to admin, right? We'll send this request to the repeater, not sequencer, repeater, okay? So let's go to the repeater and we'll send this request. You can see the response, right? If you submit the request with PHP session cookie already defined, the server will not return a new cookie. So just remove all the cookie from here and resend this request to get a new PHP session ID. So you can see we get a new PHP session ID, right? PHP session ID is equal to this one, right? So notice that the session ID changes with each request, indicating it is dynamic, okay? So in the response side, just right click and then send this to sequencer. Then let's go to the sequencer tab. In the sequencer, select the token location, okay? At the bottom, you can see PHP session ID is equal to something. So select this one and start live capture, okay? And even enable auto analyze so that it will automatically analyze the randomness of tokens. And once the capture is complete, we'll review the summary page in Burp sequencer. The analysis shows that session tokens have excellent randomness, making them hard to tamper with. Even if session tokens look secure, it is important to use tools like Burp sequencer to check their randomness and security. Always test session tokens in authorized environment to avoid vulnerabilities. And thank you for watching this lecture. See you in the next lecture. In this lecture, you will learn about HTTP methods. We'll start with the get method. Imagine you're using a login form on a website. So with the get method, when you enter your username and password and hit submit, those details are shown right in the website address. So this isn't good for security because anyone's snooping around, especially on shared network, and see your login details. But if the form uses the post method instead, your username and password stay hidden. So when you submit a form using the post method, the form data is transmitted in the body of the HTTP request rather than as the part of the URL. When you're dealing with the private information like passwords, it is much safer to use the post method. So to understand this better, let's try something hands-on. We're going to intercept the request using the tool called Burp Suite. Let's first start the Burp Suite. Okay, just type Burp Suite and then choose this temporary project and start Burp. Okay. Next, open this tab, proxy, and then open the browser. Okay. And then you can take any website. I'm using test PHP. Okay. And then if I click on this your card and will on the intercept, it is not opening this. So let's open this artist. Okay, so you can see it is using the get request because everything is stored, everything is appended to the URL itself, right? When you open this artist, so this is gonna append in the URL. Okay, you can see it is appended in the URL, right? So let's open this tab, sign up, and then enter the username and the password. I'm entering username as test and the password as test. Okay, and then on the intercept and then click login. Okay, so you can see it is using the post request. Yes, everything is stored in the request body. You can see username is test and the password is test. Okay, next we have options method, which allows us to determine which specific methods are permitted on a web server. So how do we use it? Let's take a practical look. So for this demonstration, I'm using Metasploitable machine as a web server. This is the IP address of the Metasploitable machine. Okay, so to make the request using the options method, we can utilize curl command, curl, and then type v is for purpose, and then x, that is gonna specify the options. Okay, next is the URL of this IP address. Okay, here is the IP address. Okay, here you can provide the website URL. Next, just hit enter. So this is going to display you what all the methods are permitted on this website. So you can see options, get, head, post, delete, these all the methods are allowed on this website. Next method we have is delete method. So using delete method, we can delete the files on the web server. So let's see how we can delete the files on the server. Here you can see on the web server we have this file 1.txt. Let's see how we can delete it. So let's type curl hyphen x, then delete, okay, because we want to delete this file, and the URL, okay, to specify this URL. And next, after specifying this URL, specify the file name. File name is 1.txt. Just hit enter. Okay, you can see this will delete this 1.txt file. Now we'll see what is a put method. Guys, it is a dangerous method if it is allowed on the server, as attacker can upload the malicious files. Okay, so let's see how to use the put method. Just type curl hyphen x, then put, and the URL. Okay, so like if I want to upload this file, okay, on this location, like DAV, okay, and I want to upload a file, then I can use this option, upload file. Okay, but here I'm just writing something inside a file. For that, you can use -d option. Okay, I'm writing hacked. Okay, I'm writing hacked inside a file 1.txt. Okay, so this is going to create 1.txt file and we'll write hacked inside it. Okay, let's hit enter, and now you can see it has created this file 1.txt. Now let's upload the malicious file and get the meterpreter shell. So guys, you can download any web shell. I'm downloading C99 shell. Okay, I'm downloading it from this website. Okay, you can download the C99 shell from here. I've already downloaded it. It is in downloads. Okay, the C99 shell.php. So let's see how we can upload the C99 shell using curl command, curl hyphen x, and then put. Okay, then the option upload file, then C99 shell.php. Next, specify the URL and then specify the HTTP 1.0. So HTTP 1.0, that is indicating we are using HTTP 1.0 protocol. Okay, and then hit enter. So you can see it has uploaded this C99 shell.php. So if you click on it, you can see here is an option to enter the commands. Like if we try to run this command like ls and just click on execute. So this is running the ls command. It is listing all the files present inside this web server. Okay, so let's execute another command. Okay, we can run any Linux command. Like if we want to run any command, just type here and then click on execute. Okay, so you can see this is Linux Metasploitable machine. Next, we'll see how we can get the meterpreter shell. For that, just start the Metasploit framework, MSF console. Okay, and then use the exploit multi-handler. Okay, we are using this exploit multi and then / handler. Next, set the payload. Otherwise, we want to use this payload cmd unix. Okay, then reverse python, then hit enter. And next is set the lhost. So lhost is your IP address, your machine IP address. If you want to check it, you can use config command. So this is going to show you your IP address. So this is my IP address. Okay, so I'm going to set this as lhost. Okay, next is set lport. Lport is 443. And let's generate the payload. So type as we know p -p option is to generate the payload. So we are generating this reverse _ python, this payload we are generating, and it is using the same lport and lhost that we used over here. Okay, next just hit enter. This is gonna generate a command. And just copy this command. Copy this again from here. Okay. And just paste it here. And then click on execute. But before that, before the start the listener, type your run and then execute this command. Okay, so let's see if we got the shell or not. So here you can see we got the shell. It has opened the session 1, right? So if we type ls, we are able to list files inside this, right? So guys, like this, you can upload the malicious file and get the metadata shell. All right, thanks for watching. In this lecture, we're talking something called HTTP verb tampering. Sounds complicated, right? But do not worry, I will break it down for you. First, let's quickly understand what HTTP verbs are. So when you interact with the website, your browser uses this verb to tell the website what to do. For example, get is used to fetch data, post is used to submit data, put is for updating, and delete is for, well, delete is for deleting. Imagine you are on a website, checking out your profile, and your browser sends a GET request to fetch your profile data. Now what if an attacker changes this GET request to delete request? So if the website does not properly check the request, it might delete your profile instead of just showing it. So this is HTTP verb tampering. An attacker changes HTTP method to trick the website into doing something it should not. Let's see it practically. So guys, just open the site and we'll create an account in this site. Here you can type any name. Okay, I'm using Joker1234 as username, and then you can take an email address. So I will use a temp mail. Just go to temp mail. Okay, and take a disposal email address. Just we'll change it. So I'll just copy the email address from here and just paste it here. Okay, and password you can type any. Alright, then confirm the password and then submit it. Okay, so a mail has been sent to this mail, okay, to let you confirm your subscription. So you'll go to temp mail, just close it, or if you can refresh the site and open this mail. Hello Joker1234, so let's confirm your email address. So after verifying this, it will open this site. Alright, so let's move to challenges. First let's select the language, English, okay, and then move to challenges. Then get us in challenges and then open this web server. Then here is a challenge named HTTP verb tampering. Just open this challenge. Close these sites. So guys, after opening this challenge, just click on start the challenge. Okay. So you can see here it is asking for username and password that we don't know, right? So let's on the intercept. Just open the website and on the intercept, and just you can refresh this page. Okay. And here you have to change this method to a different method. I'm changing it to options, and just forward this request. Then open the browser. You can see it is displaying as the password. So after changing the method, after manipulating that method, we got the password. So it means it is vulnerable to that attack, HTTP verb tampering, right? So we enter the password and click send. Okay, now you can off the intercept. So you can see, well done, you have won 15 points. So to prevent this, website should always validate HTTP methods on the server side, implement strong access control, and regularly test for vulnerabilities. So in a nutshell, HTTP verb tampering is when someone changes the method of HTTP request to exploit a website. So simple validation and security practices can keep this in check. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to explore HTTP parameter pollution. So HTTP parameter pollution is a web vulnerability when an attacker can manipulate or inject multiple parameters with the same name in an HTTP request. So this can cause unexpected behavior, potentially allowing attackers to bypass security controls or inject malicious data. So let's see it practically. To demonstrate this, I'm using VMWare machine. Just paste the IP address of VMWare machine in your browser, and do not forget to start the pop. Okay, and make sure your intercept is off. After that, just start this application, multi-day 2, and then go to this one A1 injection, Okay, we'll open this page of HTTP parameter pollution. Then we'll go to the user poll page of multi-day. So you can see this page allows user to vote for their favorite security tool, and we will be using this page to demonstrate HTTP parameter pollution. So you can select anything from here, your favorite security tool. Okay, so I'm selecting Wireshark as my choice. Okay, and then enter anything in the initials field. I'm entering hacker in the initial field. Then click here, submit vote. But before that, let's on the intercept. Okay, and now we'll submit it. So guys, if we submit this, what we are getting here, it is displaying us no choice selected, right? But if you open the Burp Suite, it is displaying us choice is equal to Wireshark and initials is equal to hacker, right? So if we on off the intercept, we'll see what it is displaying us. It is displaying your choice was Wireshark. All right. So let's again submit a different choice. This time I will submit choice as Burp Suite. Okay, and I will enter the same thing and will click on submit vote. But make sure your intercept is on. Now let's submit vote. So now you can see it is using the get request, right? And here you can see choice is equal to Burp Suite and initial is equal to hacker, right? So now we will add a different parameter. Okay, so and choice equal to, so let's add something else, hacked. Okay, and again add and, so choice is equal to Burp Suite and choice is equal to hacked. Okay, so let's forward this request and let's see what it will display us on the web page. We'll click forward, then just analyze the response from the server. So you can see it is displaying us your choice was hacked. So guys, it is depending on how the server processes the parameters. You may notice different behaviors. Like some applications use the first parameter and others applications use the last, and some might concatenate the value. For example, when I was choosing this unmap and I was adding another choice like hacked, if it concatenates the value, so it's gonna show us result something like unmap hacked. Okay, that's the quick overview of HTTP parameter pollution and the practical demonstration using multi-day and Burp Suite. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to bypass two-factor authentication. Let's get started and exploit this weakness step by step. So we have this lab 2FA simple bypass. This lab two-factor authentication can be bypassed. You have already obtained a valid username and password, but do not have access to the user 2FA verification code. To solve this lab, access Carlos account page. These are your credentials and these are the victim credentials. So first we'll access this lab. Just click here, access the lab. This will open the web page, okay, where we can access this lab. So we'll log in with these credentials. So here we can see email client. So we'll open the email client and then click here, my account. Then we'll log in with Wiener as username and Peter as password. Click login and it's asking for 4-digit security code. Okay, so we'll go to email client, refresh this page and enter this code. This is security code. And then click login. Now carefully make a note of the URL. It's crucial for our exploit. So I can see after this / we have my -account. Okay. After noting the URL, we log out from this account. And now go back to this Portspeaker website and just copy these credentials, victim credentials. And then we'll log in with this victim credentials. Then click login. Now it's asking for 4-digit security code. So you can see guys, the URL it's /login2. So if we remove this login2 with my -account, so we have successfully gained access to the victim account without a need for 2FA. This vulnerability exists because the server isn't validating the 2FA at each step. And that's it. You have successfully bypassed 2FA in this lab. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back everyone. In this lecture, we'll recapping the key concepts and tools we have covered so far in Burp Suite. This will help you to consolidate your understanding and ensure you are ready to apply these tools effectively in your security testing. Our journey begins with the proxy tool. Think of the proxy as a middleman that sits between your browser and the internet, and it captures all the data exchange between the two. So this tool is crucial because it allows you to inspect and modify requests and responses to see how the web application reacts. So this capability is foundation for effective testing. And next we have is target tool. This tool provides a comprehensive map of the application structure. It lists all the URLs and endpoints discovered by Web Suite, helping you to understand the scope of your testing. And by mapping out the application, you can plan your testing strategy more effectively. Next is the intruder tool. It acts like an automated attacker. It sends numerous requests with different payloads to identify vulnerabilities such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting. And this tool is powerful for pinpointing weak spots in the application that could be exploited by malicious actors. Then we have is repeater. So the repeater tool is designed for manual testing. It allows you to send in tweak HTTP request, giving you the flexibility to try out different inputs and observe the application responses. So this is particularly useful for fine-tuning your testing and verifying potential vulnerabilities. Next is the sequencer tool that can analyze the randomness of tokens like session IDs to check if they can be easily predicted. And then we have decoder. The decoder tool converts encoded data to plain text and vice versa, supporting various encoding schemas. Next is the comparer tool that can compare two pieces of data to highlight differences, useful for spotting subtle changes. And then we have a scanner tool that can automate the search for common security vulnerabilities, providing a thorough security assessment. Next we have is the extender tool that can add plugins and extensions to enhance functionality. And last but not the least, the spider tool that can crawl the website, discovering all the content and links to build a complete map of the application. And that's a quick recap. Keep these tools in mind for effective web application security testing. Thank you for watching and happy testing. In this lecture, we'll explore what is Nmap. Nmap or network mapper is a tool that helps you to see what's on your network. So think of it like a flashlight in a dark room. So when you turn on the light, it shows you all the things which are there in the room. Same as using Nmap. It shows you all the devices which are connected to your network. Let's say you have a small office with a printer, laptop, server and a router, and you want to check what's connected. So you can use a simple command nmap -sp and the IP address of the network. Okay, 1.0/24. So here we have /24 is the subnet. So this checks which devices are on your network, and the result shows all the active devices and their IP addresses. That will confirm that our router, server, laptop and printer are online. So it's like making a quick head count to see who's present. So with Nmap, you can easily see what devices are connected and what services they are running. It's a simple but a powerful way to understand and manage your network. In the upcoming lessons, we'll explore Nmap features and how you can use them. Thank you for watching. In this section, we'll walk through the steps to install Nmap on different operating systems and configure it for optimal use. So Nmap, short for network mapper, is an open source tool used for network discovery and security auditing. So to get started, let's download Nmap from the official website. Just go to nmap.org, and here you can find version for Windows. Okay, just go to this download tab and you can see the latest version for Windows operating system, Mac and Linux, or any other OS. Okay, so if you want to download it for Windows operating system, just click on Windows installer link, and once downloaded, just run the installer and follow the on-screen instruction. So it's easy to do the setup for Windows and Mac OS. And for Mac OS, just download the installer package and follow the standard installation. And after installation, you can verify it by opening terminal and typing nmap -- version. So I'll show you how you can download and set up it for Linux. Okay, so for Debian based system, just open your terminal and type the command sudo apt get install nmap. Okay, so type the command sudo apt get install nmap. This command will install the nmap. Okay, and after installation, verify that nmap is properly configured by running nmap. Okay, so this will show you the help page of it, or you can see by using nmap -help. So that's going to show you the help page of nmap. Now let's perform a simple scan on a local network. So just type the command nmap -sp and the IP address of the network. Okay, /24. That's the subnet. Okay, so this command will ping all the devices in the specified IP range, and then it will list the ones that are up. So you can see it's showing that this host is up 192.168, so you can gather more information about this IP address. So in this lecture, we covered the installation and basic setup of Nmap across different operating systems. In the next session, we'll explore advanced scanning techniques and how to interpret Nmap results effectively. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we will learn network scanning with Nmap. So what is network scanning? Network scanning is the process of discovering active devices on a network, identifying their IP addresses, and gathering information about the services running on these devices. There are three main objectives of network scanning. First is discovering live host. So we'll identify which devices are active and connected to the network. Then service detection will determine the services and application running on the discovered host. And then operating system detection. So we'll identify the operating systems of the host. So Nmap is widely used for these purposes due to its efficiency and the wealth of information it can provide. Now next we have is types of scans in Nmap. So Nmap offers a variety of scanning techniques, each suited for different scenarios. Let's go over some of the most commonly used scans. First we have is ping scan. So the purpose of the ping scan is to quickly identify live host without scanning for open ports. So the command that you can use for it is nmap-sn, and here you can mention the target IP address or the domain. Okay, so this scan is useful when you want to get a list of active devices on a network without getting detailed information. Next we have is SYN scan. So the SYN scan is also known as half open scan, and it is the default and most popular scan option in the Nmap. The command that you can use for it, nmap-s capital S, and you can mention the target. Okay, so the scan sends in packets and wait for SYN-ACK responses to identify open ports without completing the TCP handshake. So it is fast, making it ideal for large network. Okay, next we have is UDP scan -su. So it is used for scanning open UDP ports. Okay, the command that you can use is nmap-su, and you can mention the target. So as you know, UDP does not have a handshake mechanism like TCP. So UDP scans can be slower and more challenging, but they're essential for discovering services like TNS and SMP. Next we have is service version detection -sv. So it is used to determine the version of the services running on open ports, and this is the command that you can use for running the scan nmap-sv, and here you can mention the target IP address. Okay, next we have is to detect operating system. So for that you can use -o option, and then we have is aggressive scan. Aggressive scan is used to combine multiple scans into one, including OS detection, version detection, script scanning, and trace route. So if you want to use the scan, just type the command nmap-A and mention the target IP address. Alright, so that's the aggressive scan. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, you will learn some basic commands and options of Nmap. So let's start with the first command, nmap-help. So this command will display the help page of the Nmap. You can see the help page, right? First, we can see the Nmap version and a simple users format like Nmap, scan type, options, target specification. So you can scan specific IPs, whole networks, or even domain names. And under target specification, you can input IP addresses, host names, or networks. You can also exclude certain hosts or use input files for bulk scanning. So hope you guys can explore all these options for host discovery, scan techniques, port specification, and scan order. There are lots of options in Nmap. So we'll explore them one by one. And if you want to save this output, Nmap also provides extensive output options, enabling you to save results in various formats like XML or graphable with the -o flag. Okay. So nmap-help is your go-to reference for Nmap capabilities. So let's see some basic commands of using this Nmap. Okay. So you can see some examples of it. So let's type Nmap and any IP address like 192.168. I will enter the IP address of the metasploitable machine. We'll go to metasploitable machine. The metasploitable machine IP address is 192.168.174.160. 174.160. So you can see it is scanning for the ports and the state, and it is displaying the service which is running on these ports, right? So this is the simplest Nmap command. just type nmap and followed by the target IP address or host name, and nmap will perform a basic scan to discover open ports and services that you can see over here, right? Next, if you want to perform a simple ping scan to check if the host is up, use the -sp option. So this command will send ICMP echo request and TCP ACK packets to determine the host availability. As you can see, it is displaying as host is up with the MAC address of the target machine, right? Now, if you want to scan for specific ports, then type nmap-p, and here you can mention the port number that you want to scan for, like if these ports are open or not, and then mention the IP address of the target machine. Okay. So this is useful when you are interested in particular services running on known ports. You can specify a single port or range of ports or a list of ports. Next, for service version detection, you can use SV option. So just type the command nmap-sp and the IP address of the target machine. So it probes open ports to determine what services and version are running. So this is especially useful for identifying potential vulnerabilities. So you can see it is displaying us which port is open and what services running on those ports with the version, right? So you can see on 21 port FTP service is running, and the version is BSFTPD. Alright. Next, if you want to know what operating system is running on the target, then just type nmap-o and the target IP address. Alright. So it's capital O. Then hit enter. So this will display you what operating system target is using. So you can see OS detail Linux 2.6.9, right? And even it is displaying the information regarding the port, state, and service. Next option is -a. Okay, we'll see what is -a option. So this is for aggressive scanning, which includes OS detection, version detection, script scanning, and trace route. So this commands give you a comprehensive overview of the target. Okay, so you can see it will display us everything from OS detection to trace route. So this command will take some time, right? And I can see it is displaying us this result, right? From this port, like 21 port is open, the service is FTP, the version is BSFTPD, right? And even so much information about this, right? About this port, like it is connected to 192.168.174.165, logged in as FTP, type Sky, no session bandwidth limit, right? And more information about the target. Next we have is the scan or syn scan, and it is one of the most popular scanning technique in Nmap. It is faster and less likely to be detected by firewalls and intrusion detection system. So just type the command nmap-ss and the target machine IP address, then hit enter. You can see it is starting nmap. Nmap version is this one. Nmap scan report for this IP address and the time taken, right? 0.00 something seconds it took. And it is displaying us that 977 ports are closed, means it is not active. Okay. And then it is displaying us list of ports. So what this command is doing, here this is command send syn packets and wait for responses, making it an effective method for discovering open ports without establishing a full TCP connection. Now we have covered the essential. Okay. So let's see how we can save this. So if you want to save this in a human readable format, okay, use this option -on when it is means it is saving in a normal format. So I will save it in a out.txt file. Okay, so it will save all these things in out.txt file. If you want to see that, just check this out.txt file. Okay, using cat command. You can see, right? You can see the result. That's all for this lecture. Up next, we'll explore real-world scenarios where these nmap commands comes into play. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, in this lecture you will learn how to scan ports on vulnerable web application. I will show you how to uncover open ports, interpret the results, and understand what they mean. So let's get started. For this, I'm using testphp1web.com. Okay, a vulnerable web application used for security testing. So just copy this and let's scan this using nmap. So we run a basic scan to see what's open. So just type nmap and testphp.oneweb.com. Okay, and just hit enter. So it will show you what ports are open. So you can see it is starting nmap. You can see the nmap version 7.94, right? So this command will scan the most common ports and give us a quick overview. Okay. So the results show several open ports, including FTP on port 21, HTTP on port 80, RTSP on port 554, and then last one is PPTP on 1723, right? And it is even showing how much time it took, right? Host is up and 0.045 second it took, right? Next, let's focus on port 80, which is where the web server is running. So to scan only this port and skip host discovery, just type nmap -p 80 and then -pn, okay, and just type test12web.com. So this will just show the result for port 80. Okay, so you can see the port 80 is open, right? Meaning the web server is accessible. So this is where the web application is hosted. If you want to get the detailed information about the service running on port 80, we'll use nmap with -sv option. Okay, just type the same command and just use one more option, -s and v. So this option will detect the service and version. Just hit enter. So here -p, it will target port 80. Okay, it will show you the results of port 80, and -pn, it will skip host discovery, whereas -sv, it will perform version detection. So you can see the scan reveals the port 80 is open and it is running Nginx 1.19. That's a popular web server, right? So this version of Nginx may have specific vulnerabilities or security issues that could be exploited if not properly secured. Each open port represents a service running on test web. For example, FTP on port 21 might allow file transfers, and HTTP on port 80 gives us access to the web application. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we're covering how to use nmap to detect operating system and service versions running on a target machine. So type in nmap -o-sb and target machine IP address. Here -o option detects the operating system of the target machine, and this is done by analyzing the responses it gets from the host, which helps nmap guess the OS. Then we have -sb option. So -sb option is used for service version detection. It is used to determine which services are running and, more importantly, their versions. Now let's take a look at the results of the scan. So let's hit enter. So nmap detected the target machine is running a Linux operating system, specifically a kernel version between 2.6.9 to 2.6.33, and the scan revealed several services running on this machine. For example, FTP on port 21 running via FTPD. So knowing these versions allow you to search for known vulnerabilities that could be exploited in these services. Why is this information important? So by identifying the OS and specific service versions, you can tailor your security assessments more effectively. For instance, if you find an outdated version of MySQL, you know how to check for specific exploits related to that version. And that's it. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we learn about NSE. NSE is like the ultimate upgrade to your nmap scan. It's not just about finding open ports, it's about diving deeper. So think of NSE as a collection of powerful automated systems that can do everything from finding vulnerabilities to identify the specific software versions running on your target. So NSE scripts are pre-written commands that tell nmap what to look for. So if you want to check if the website is vulnerable to an attack, there is a script for that. And the best part, you don't need to be coding genius to use them. So how you can use NSE? It's simple. In kernel Linux, these scripts live in user share nmap scripts. So let's type in cd user share and then nmap, then scripts. Okay, then type ls for listing files and directories. So import scripts for almost anything you can imagine, from brute forcing VNC passwords to identifying outdated TLS configuration, and running them is also easy. So let's see. Let's say you are targeting a website and you want to find who owns the domain. Okay, so simple, we'll use a who is domain script. So let's I will copy this website URL, okay, and I will type nmap hyphen script, and I will use the script host domain equal to host domain dot nsc, okay. So we'll type it host hyphen domain dot nsc and the target, okay. So let's run it. So instantly you will get host information right in your terminal. So with this command, this will display the host information of the target, okay. But if you want to dig into the IP address details, then you can use IP, okay, host IP dot nsc, and let's take this time, let's take google.com. So this command will display you the IP address of google.com, okay. So you can see it is returning us the IP address or DNS record for this IP, okay. So if you copy and paste this IP, then it will open google.com, right? And it is even displaying about the port information, which port is open, right, and what services running on those ports. Next, now let's get a little creative. NS isn't just about running pre-made scripts. You can chain them together for even more powerful scans. So here is how. Just type in this command nmap hyphen script. I'm using two scripts this time, okay. http title http num.nsc hyphen p, and I'm focusing on two ports, port 80 and port 443, and my target is testphp.vulnweb.com. So just hit enter. So this command first grabs the HTTP titles, then enumerates potential hidden directories. So it's a quick way to get a snapshot of what the web server is exposing. This scan shows that the host php.vulnweb.com is up and has an IP address of this one. It also shows that host domain is this one, right? And the port is open. This 80 port is open, that is running HTTP service. And using HTTP title script, it is giving us a hint about what the website is about, right? And with HTTP enum script, it has identified several directories on the web server that could be of interest, like /admin, possible admin folder, /login.php, and many more directories, right? And then it is displaying us 443 filtered. So this port, it is not able to determine whether it is open or closed. So maybe the firewall is blocking. So with this single command, you have gathered key information that could lead to further exploitation. And now I want you all to explore more and more scripts. Only then you can become an expert. That's it for this lecture. In this lecture, you will learn about host discovery techniques. Host discovery is the process of finding out which devices like computers are currently active and connected to a network. So using host discovery, you can find out active devices, IP addresses, and some basic details like the device MAC address or the type of device depending on the scan method used. Let's start with the basics. If you want to check whether a single device is online, you can use a simple nmap command. For instance, here is how to scan a specific IP address to see if it is up. So type in nmap -sn and the IP address of the target machine. Here -sn option is used to disable port scanning, okay, and it will focus only on finding live host, as we do not want to know which port is open. So we are using this option, okay. So let's run this command and you can see it is displaying us this host is up 192.168.174.160, right, and the MAC address of this host. So we can see this is running on a virtual machine, right, and this IP address is the IP address of the metasploitable machine, okay. You can see the metasploitable to machine IP address is 192.168.174.160. So this is how you can find the live host, okay, and this is for single IP. Next, let's say you want to check an entire range of IP addresses. Here is how you can do it. So we'll scan from 192.168 0.174.0 to 161 to identify all the active devices within this range. So this will identify several hosts, each with this IP and MAC addresses. Okay, you can see it is displaying the IP addresses with the MAC addresses, right? So Nmap quickly scans the entire range, showing us which IPs are active and providing additional details like MAC addresses. Sometimes you need speed over stealth. For those situations, you can use Nmap-T5 timing template, which speeds up the scan significantly. Let's apply it to the same range and see the difference. So you can see it has scanned this range within 1.79 seconds, right? And displaying us the source is up with MAC address, right? So T5 is perfect when you want to do very fast scan, though it might be too aggressive for some networks. What are timing templates? Nmap timing templates are predefined profiles that adjust the speed and stealth of a scan. We'll see various options in the timing templates. So first we have -T0, that's paranoid, and this is extremely slow. It is designed to avoid detection by intrusion detection systems, and the scan can take several hours to days depending on the size of the target range and network conditions. Then next we have -T1 option. Okay, so this one is slow and stealthy. Then we have T2, that is slower than normal. Then T3, that is having default speed. Then T4, that is aggressive, faster than normal. Then T5, this one is very fast, but may overload the network or miss host due to the speed. So if we have a larger network and we want to scan it very fastly, then we can use T5 option. Okay, but it can miss hosts due to its speed. All right. So if you as we are moving from T0 to T5, you can see the scanning speed is increasing, right? Now we scan an entire subnet using the CIDR notation, which is perfect for larger networks. So this time we are scanning 192.168.174.0/24, which includes all IPs from 192.168.174.0 to 255 that contains 256 hosts. So it will scan for all the 256 hosts. So with this scan, we will identify all the active devices in the subnet, giving us comprehensive overview of the network. So this method is ideal for discovering every live host in a broader network. So you can see it has scanned for 256 IP addresses, in which 5 hosts are up, and it has scanned this in 1.92 seconds, right? So you can see it is giving report for this IP address with the MAC address of this device, right? And that's it for this lecture. MAC address spoofing is the act of changing the media access control address of your device to a different one, either randomly generated or copied from another device. And this can be done to hide your device identity, bypass network restrictions, or test the security of a network. Next, there are some common uses of MAC address spoofing. So first we have is bypassing MAC address filters. So some networks only allow devices with specific MAC addresses to connect. So by changing or spoofing your MAC address to match one of the allowed devices, you can gain access to the network without permission. So then we have for maintaining anonymity and privacy. When you are using public Wi-Fi, spoofing your MAC address can help protect your identity. This makes it harder for anyone like network administrators or attackers to track your device and see what you are doing online. And then we have evading network restrictions. So some networks restrict access to certain devices by their MAC address. By spoofing the MAC address of an authorized device, you can trick anyone into thinking your device is allowed, giving you access. And then we have impersonating another device. So by spoofing a MAC address, you can pretend to be another device on the network. This might give you access to sensitive data or even let you disrupt the network. Fifth one, we have avoiding detection. So whenever you're performing penetration testing or vulnerability assessment, using a spoofed MAC address can help avoid detection by security systems that log and track MAC addresses. And lastly, we have testing network security. So whenever you're testing the network security, you have to check how well a network security measures, such as IDS or access control list, respond to unauthorized devices. In the next lecture, I will cover the practical on it. Thanks for watching. Now let's get into practical side of things. I'm going to show you how to use Nmap, a powerful network scanning tool, to perform MAC address spoofing. We'll go through different scenarios where you might want to spoof a MAC address. So to spoof a random MAC address, type in this command, nmap -spoof, then 0, then the target, okay, that you want to scan. Then hit enter. So you can see it is scanning this target using this MAC address, right? Spoofing MAC address and displaying as host is up. So this host is up and all 1000 scan ports on this IP address or in ignore states. Okay, so you can see it has scanned this IP address, right? So this command will generate and use a completely random MAC address for this scan. Next, we'll specify the prefix of the MAC address and let nmap generate the rest. So use this command nmap -spoof MAC, and here you mention this prefix and target IP address. Then hit enter. So this command will use a MAC address that is starting from 0011. Okay, while the remaining bits are randomly generated. To spoof a specific MAC address, type in the command nmap -spoof MAC and specify here the MAC address. Okay, and then the IP address of the target machine. So this command sets the MAC address to this one. So let's hit enter. You can see it has set the MAC address to this one, this MAC address, and then it is scanning for this target machine. Alright. Next, if you want to spoof a MAC address associated with a particular vendor, use the vendor name. So type in the command nmap -spoof, then -mac, then the vendor name. Here you can mention any vendor name like HP, Asus, or Samsung, or any other name, and then the IP address of the target machine. Then hit enter. So nmap will generate a MAC address with the prefix associated with the vendor Asus. Okay, that's it for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we'll dive into an essential tool for ethical hackers, SQL Map. SQL Map is an open source penetration testing tool that automates the process of detecting and exploiting SQL injection vulnerabilities in web applications. Guys, imagine you are an ethical hacker and you are testing website security. Let's say you want to test this website, and here we have a login page where users enter their username and password. And website connects to a database on the server to check if the login credentials are correct. Now let's consider that this login page might be vulnerable to SQL injection. So in a typical scenario, when a user submits their login details like username as admin and password as test, the website sends a query to the database like this. Select start from users, where username is equal to admin and password is equal to test. So this select query runs in the background on the database server where the data is stored. And the query will return all the information, all the columns for the user who has username admin and the password test. If there is no match, the query will return nothing. Now, if the website does not properly sanitize input fields, an attacker could enter something like this in the username field. So this is SQL injection payload, admin single quote or 1 equal to 1 and password as test. So this could change the SQL query to this select start from users where username is equal to admin or 1 equal to 1 and password is equal to test. And here the OR operator means that the query will return results if either condition is true. Since 1 equal to 1 is always true, this query could bypass the authentication check. And then we will be able to log in into the website. Guys, have you noticed one thing? We did this entire process manually. So this is where SQL Map comes in. Instead of manually crafting and testing SQL injection payloads, SQL Map can automate this process. You would point SQL Map to the vulnerable login page and it would automatically test various payloads, detect the vulnerability, and even exploit it to extract sensitive data from the database like user, credentials, emails, or even entire tables. In the next lecture, we'll set up our environment so you can start using SQL Map. We'll walk through the installation process and get you ready to start testing for SQL injection vulnerabilities. In this lecture, we're going to set up a pen testing lab. Let's get started. First, open your browser and search for VirtualBox download, and then open this website. And then here you can download the VirtualBox for the version suitable for your operating system. Okay. In my case, I'm using Windows operating system, so I will click Windows OS. So it will start downloading it for Windows operating system. Okay, and then follow the installation prompts to install VirtualBox on your host machine. After that, search for Kali Linux download, and then click on Get Kali. So that's the official website of Kali. So then click on Virtual Machine. We'll download for VirtualBox. Okay, so this will start downloading the Kali for VirtualBox, and then we'll see how we can install Kali Linux and VirtualBox. After downloading the Kali, extract the file. After extracting files, just open this folder and then double click this file. Okay, this will open this VirtualBox, and now from here we can start the Kali, and this will start the installation of Kali Linux inside VirtualBox. So you can see booting in 4 seconds. So guys, here you can log in using Kali as username and Kali as password. That's the default credentials for this machine. So Kali has a username and Kali has a password. So we are inside this machine. So after getting inside this machine, we'll update and upgrade this operating system using this command. So let's just type apt update and apt upgrade. So that will update and upgrade this operating system, and then type the password. Okay. Guys, after updating and upgrading your system, just open the Firefox and search for Pentest Lab GitHub. Now we'll set up the Pentest Lab environment, which includes DBWA. So we clone this repository. So just click here, code, and copy URL to clipboard. Or you can check the help page. Okay, just scroll down. You can see how you can get started. So how you can clone the repo, you can just copy this. Okay, you can copy the command from here, git clone with the URL, and then you can change directory to this one, Pentest Lab. So I'll copy this and then paste it here on the terminal. Okay, so this is cloning into Pentest Lab. Now for listing files and folders, we'll type ls, so that will list all the files in this. Now for using the script, we need to have Docker installed in our system. So we'll type this command, apt install docker.io, and then hit enter. So this will install Docker. Okay, and then execute the script, bash pentest lab.sh. So you can see the help page of this. If you want to list all the available projects, then just enter bash pentest lab.sh and then list. Okay, this will list all the web apps that you can use, pentest applications. Okay, like VWAP, webcode, DBWA. So we'll start DBWA. So if you want to start any web app, just type bash pentest lab.sh and then start, then the application name. Okay. Okay, so you can see the default username and password for this web app, admin and password. Admin is the username, and password is the password for this web app. Okay, so open this. Admin is the username and password as password. Then click login, and then click create or reset database. So finally, we have successfully set up the lab. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we'll cover the basics of discovering SQL injection vulnerabilities using SQL Map. We'll start by exploring the help menu to understand the options available in SQL Map. Before we dive into any commands, let's quickly take a look at the help menu. This will give us a better idea of the various flags and options we can use while performing SQL injection testing. So just type in the command SQL Map -help. So it will display you the help menu. Okay. So here we can see many options like -h for showing basic help message, -h for showing advanced help message, and many more options. We can see if you want to set the target, if you want to specify target URL, you can use this option -u. Okay. In this lecture, we'll focus on discovering SQL injection vulnerabilities. So for that, we will be using DBWA, which is a safe environment to practice security techniques. So let's start the pen test. Let's just change the directory to pentest lab, and we will start the DBWA. Okay. If it is displaying you any error while loading the website, okay, this web page, then first you can stop it. Then you can use the command stop DBWA and start it again. After starting the DBWA, just open this link, and we'll log in as admin as username and password as password. Click login. Okay, then move to this tab SQL injection, and here submit anything as user ID. I'm submitting one as user ID and click submit. Okay, so you can see it is displaying ID 1, first name admin, surname admin. So just copy this URL. Okay, just copy this URL and then open your terminal and then type SQL map and then specify the URL with the cookie. Okay, cookie PHP session ID. So guys, for getting this PHP session ID, inspect this page. Click here, right click and inspect the page. Go to the storage and then copy this value. Okay, this is PHP session ID and then paste it here. And security equal to low. As you can see, security level equal to low. Guys, do not forget these single quotes. Okay, and then hit enter. So you can see it is displaying us the result. It has identified the backend database as MySQL and existence of SQL injection vulnerabilities. And you can see ID parameter in the URL as vulnerable to SQL injection. And it is testing for multiple types of SQL injection methods like Boolean based blind, error based, and time based blind, right? Union query. So this is how you can confirm that the application is vulnerable to SQL injection. In the next lecture, we'll explore how to enumerate database tables and retrieve data using SQL map. We'll dive into options like hyphen DBS for database enumeration and hyphen tables to extract the list of tables. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In our previous lecture, we discovered SQL injection vulnerabilities using SQL map. Now we'll take it a step further by extracting database information from the vulnerable application. For this demonstration, we'll be continuing from what we left off. So before we dive into extracting database information, let's quickly check SQL map help menu. This is important to understand the options available for enumeration. So just type in SQL map -help. So I'll check the options for enumeration. So you can see these options can be used to enumerate the backend database management system, structure and data contained in the tables. Here we have the first option, -a or -all. That can retrieve everything. But now we use this option on a live web application without explicit permission, as it will retrieve all the available data from the database, and this may be illegal and unethical. And then we have -b option for retrieving DBMS banner, and then many more options, right? And in this lecture, we will be focusing on enumerating DBMS databases and DBMS database tables. So let's extract the databases from our target URL. Now run this SQL map command to enumerate databases. Here we are using -DBS, that is used to fetch the list of available databases. So just hit enter. So we'll get available databases, DBWA, and information schema, right? So this is how you can get the information regarding the databases. And now we'll extract the tables from these databases. Okay. To do this, we use the -tables option, and from which database names we want to extract the tables. For that, use this option -d and mention and then type the database name like DBWA. So this command tells SQL map to enumerate the tables within the DBWA database. So you can see, we can see that the DBWA database contains two tables, guest book and users. And if you want to enumerate the tables from information schema, just mention that database name information_schema. Okay, you'll get list of tables from that database name. Okay. At this stage, it is important to remember that extracting database information from systems without permission is illegal and unethical. So always ensure you are working on systems where you have explicit permission, such as your own local environment or within bug bounty programs. Now that we have successfully extracted database and table information, the next step is to dive deeper into these tables to extract specific data such as usernames and password hashes. In the next lecture, we'll explore dumping data from the users table and analyze its contents. In the previous lectures, we focused on basic SQL injection discovery and extracting database information. In this lecture, we'll move forward by using SQL map to dump entire database tables. This will allow us to access critical information such as user data, passwords, and more. From the previous lecture, we have already identified that the DBWA database contains two tables, guest book and users. Our goal in this lecture is to extract and dump the full contents of the users table, which contains user details such as usernames, password hashes, and more. So just type in this command to start dumping the users table content. SQL map, you specify the URL and then specify the cookie value, and then -d, and then here you need to specify the database name, and then -t, specify the table name, -- dump all. So this command dumps everything from the users table, revealing key information. So just hit enter. So do you want to store hashes to a temporary file for eventual further processing with other tools? So just type y. Do you want to crack the MVI dictionary based attack? Why? Okay, so you can see. So let's analyze the result. So you can see from the users table. The users table contain usernames, password hashes, names, last login times, and failed login attempts. And we can see SQL map automatically identified hashed passwords in the dumped data. By cracking these hashes, we have obtained the plain text passwords of the user. So guys, if you scroll down a bit, we can see that it has dumped other tables such as guest book, which contains user comments or feedback. So in this lecture, we have successfully used SQL map to dump the contents of the users and guest book tables. In the next lecture, we'll dive deeper into advanced SQL map functionalities to automate and enhance our SQL injection testing efforts. Thanks for watching. In this session, focus on how you can quickly identify and exploit SQL injection vulnerabilities using SQL map, an automated tool. Before running SQL map, you need to identify the vulnerable URL. So for our demo, we will be using DBWA with its security set to low. So guys, if you open this tab DBWA security, you can set the security to low, okay, and submit it. Then we will run this command SQL map -u and the vulnerable URL, then hyphen cookie. Okay, so this is used to pass the session ID, then hyphen batch. So this option in SQL map is used to automate the process by skipping all user interaction prompts. And when you run SQL map without this option, it may ask for confirmation or additional input during the process, such as whether to test for certain types of SQL injection, continue with a specific technique, or dump large amount of data. So by adding hyphen batch, SQL map automatically chooses the default options for these prompts, allowing it to run without requiring manual input. Now hit enter, and after running this command, SQL map will automatically try different SQL injection techniques and display the results, including types of injections found, as you can see, Boolean based blind, right? Time based blind, and many more. So using hyphen batch option, we are just automating the process. Once SQL map identifies the vulnerability, we can list all the databases on the server. Just type in this command and add this option hyphen dbs. So this will list all the available databases. Just hit enter, and you can see it is displaying the available databases, VMWare, and information schema. Next, if we want to explore the tables in a specific database, then type in the command -d dbwa and tables. Okay, remove this dbs. Okay, it is for listing databases. So you can see it is listing all the tables, right? So SQL map will list all the tables in the dbwa database. Finally, let's extract all the data from the users table. So this is where we find sensitive information like usernames and hashed passwords. So just type in this command -d and select the database, then -t, select the users table, then dump all, then hyphen pass to automate the process, then hit enter. So SQL map will dump the contents of the users table, you can see, right? So instead of manually testing for SQL injections, SQL map handles the entire process in a few commands. That's it. With a few simple commands, you can automate SQL injection attacks using SQL map. In this lecture, we'll cover how to fingerprint the database using SQL map. This process helps us gather information about the target, including its version and technologies used. First, we'll use a basic SQL map command to fingerprint the database. So type in the command SQL map -u and specify here the target URL with hyphen cookie. So here you need to provide the session information. Alright, with hyphen banner. So that will fetch the database banner, which contains the version of the database and other details. So hit enter. After running this command, SQL map displays key details such as the backend DBMS is MySQL, web server operating system is Linux Debian 9, web application technology is Apache 2.4.25, and backend database management system and its version. In this case, it is MariaDB 10.1.26, right? Now let's find the current database. So if you want to get the current database, just type current DB. Okay, so that will display you the current database you are using. So you can see it is displaying DBWA is the current database that we are using. If you want to list all the available databases on the target system, you can use -DBS option. So that will list all the databases on the DBMS. Here you can see available databases, DBWA, information schema. So fingerprinting allows us to identify the database, version, and server details, which are critical for planning further attacks. That's all for this lecture. Thanks for watching. In this session, we'll explore a simpler way to run SQL map for testing SQL injection vulnerabilities using the wizard mode. This is perfect for beginners who want to get started without needing to remember all the commands. So let's see how to run SQL map in wizard mode. So the command to launch it is very simple. Okay, first let's see the advanced help menu. So just type in the command SQL map -hh. So this will display the advanced help menu. So here you can see hyphen wizard. That is simple wizard interface for beginner users. So type in the command SQL map -u, specify the URL, then the cookie information, the session information, then hyphen wizard. Okay, and if you want to do it automatically, then you can just use hyphen batch option. So for now, I'm removing this option, and then hit enter. So when you run this command, this will ask you some simple questions like post data, enter for none. So it's asking if you want to send post data, but if you're only working with get parameters, just hit enter. And next is asking like injection difficulty, hyphen level or hyphen risk. Please choose. So we'll choose for the first option or the default option. So just hit enter. And then again, it's asking a simple question. So if you want to perform all, then you can choose the third option. But I'm choosing the default option. So just hit enter. For beginners, you can go with the default options, which is normal. So it performs multiple injection types and displays something like this. After that, you will see about the web server operating system, that is Linux Debian 9, and then web application technology, Apache 2.4.25, and then about the backend DBMS. Then you will see banner current user, current database, DBWA, and then current user is DPA, database administrator. So that is false. So maybe current user does not have that privileges. Now, if you do not want to go through the visit prompts each time, you can run SQL map automatically by adding the batch option to your command -batch. So this bypasses the prompts and selects default answers for you. So you can see the result. So guys, that's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we'll demonstrate how to use tamper scripts to interact with a vulnerable SQL injection point. Tamper scripts are Python scripts that modify the SQL payloads before they are sent to the target. They can encode or alter parts of the payload in ways that might help bypass filters or detection systems, such as web application firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and intrusion prevention systems. Let's see it practically. So to see the tamper scripts available in SQL map, type in SQL map -list tampers. Okay, so this command will list all the built-in tamper scripts that you can use. Here we have some common scripts, include 0e, union.py, base64 encode.py, and many more. So now select a tamper script. We'll use this script, base64 encode. So it can encodes all characters in a given payload. So let's see how you can use this script. Type in the command SQL map -u, then specify the target URL, then -- cookie. Okay, that will provide the necessary session cookie with the tamper script, base64 encode. Okay, then we have -batch to run this scan automatically without prompting for user input, and then the last option -users for fetching the database users. So guys, before running this command, let's start the Wireshark. To capture what payload we are sending through the target, let's start the Wireshark. Starting the Wireshark, we know our target is using 127.8.01 address, that is a loopback address. So we'll choose loopback::IO interface. Okay, just select this interface and then hit enter. Now Wireshark will start capturing the packet. Open Wireshark and you can see the 40 number request. The 40 number packet that shows an HTTP GET request that includes an SQL injection payload, and this payload is sent to 127.8.0.1, which is the target of the SQL map attack, and this is an encoded SQL injection payload, right? Now back to the terminal, you will see output indicating whether the tamper script helped bypass any filters. So using tamper scripts can be crucial for bypassing web application security measures, and the base64 encode script is just one example of how SQL map can be leveraged to interact with complex filtering mechanism. Always ensure you have the permission to test the target system. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, you will learn about SQL map mobile option and how to use it. When you use the mobile option, SQL map pretends to be a mobile device. This is useful because some websites change their behavior based on whether you're using a mobile or desktop device. So here is a simple command to run SQL map with the -- mobile option. Okay, so here we have -u, where you put the URL of the website you are testing, and then we have -- cookie that is used for authentication if needed, and then lastly we have -- mobile that tells SQL map to act like a mobile device. So let's run this command and hit enter. Now it's asking us which mobile device we want to imitate. So you can choose from options like Apple, iPhone, BlackBerry, and more. So if you want to keep the default one, just hit enter, or you can type any number. So using the -- mobile option, that helps you see if the website behaves differently on mobile devices, which could reveal hidden vulnerabilities. So to see what's happening behind the scenes, you can use Wireshark. Okay, this tool captures and analyzes network traffic. Here you can see user agent is Mozilla 5.0 iPhone, right? iPhone OS. Back to the terminal, we can see we chose Apple iPhone 8 as our device. That's why it shows us user agent as iPhone. Alright, so -- mobile option SQL map is great for testing mobile specific behavior. Just add -- mobile to your SQL map command, choose a device and start testing. And if you want to dive deeper into network traffic, use Wireshark to see what's going on in the background. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we'll walk through the process of gaining SQL shell access using SQL map. This is a powerful feature that allows you to interact with the backend database directly, retrieve data, and execute SQL commands. This hands-on demonstration will cover real-world scenarios and provide the skills needed to control and manipulate databases through SQL shell. Before attempting to gain SQL shell, we need to identify if the target is vulnerable to SQL injection. So we already know this target is vulnerable to SQL injection. We can proceed with the SQL shell access by using the -SQL shell option. This opens a shell where you can execute SQL queries directly on the database and -batch. For doing this process automatically, so just hit enter. So this SQL map connects to the database and provide access to execute SQL commands. The first thing you should do after gaining access is to find out which database target is using. So type in database, okay, and semicolon. So this command will return the name of the current database. You can see databases, TBW. So you can run this SQL query. Okay. To explore further, you can list all tables in the current database using select query, select table name from information schema. Where table schema is equal to TBWA and then semicolon and then hit enter. So this will list all the tables in the database. You can see guest book and users. So if you want to retrieve data from the table, you can type select star from and the table name dbwa dot users. Okay, users is the table name and then semicolon, hit enter. So here the SQL map will output data from the users table, which includes usernames, passwords, and other sensitive information. So you can see. Now that you have seen how to gain SQL shell access using SQL map, I encourage you to try out some additional SQL queries on your own to enhance your understanding. I will add some SQL queries in the resources section of this lecture. And now if you want to exit from this SQL shell, just type in X. Okay. So you can exit from this SQL shell. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching. In this lecture, we'll go through how to use SQL map to test for SQL injection vulnerabilities on the testphp.vulnweb.com. Let's get started. Before we start using SQL map, we need to identify vulnerable pages that can be targeted for SQL injection. So to scan all the vulnerable points on testphp.vulnweb.com, you can use SQL map crawl and scan features to automatically find all injectable parameters across the site. So what is the crawl feature? So guys, if you use the -, crawl equal to 0, it will crawl nothing. Okay, SQL map will only scan the specified URL. Then if you use -, crawl equal to 1, that can crawl only the starting URL. And if you use crawl equal to 2, that can crawl the starting URL and the links found on it. Lastly, we have crawl equal to 3, that can crawl the starting URL, the links on it, and the links on those link pages. So if you're deeply scanning a site, you can use -, crawl equal to 3. In this lecture, I will be using -, crawl equal to 2, that can crawl the starting URL and the links found on it. So let's see practically. Now open your terminal and type in this command SQL map -u and specify the target URL for the scan. Then -, crawl equal to 2. It will crawl the website up to depth of 2 levels, then -batch. So that runs SQL map in non-interactive mode, automatically accepting default answers to any prompts. Then hit enter. Okay, so it will start checking for all the vulnerable pages. So here we got a vulnerable URL and below it is displaying cat parameter is vulnerable to SQL injection. Alright, so just copy this URL and let's list all the available databases in it. Okay, so we'll enumerate all available databases on the target. Just type in the command SQL map -u and that URL, vulnerable URL. Okay, and then we will list all the available databases. Then use -batch to do the process automatically. So just hit enter. So this will display all the available databases. You can see we have 2 available databases, Echo Art and Information Schema. Now let's select the Echo Art database and we will list the tables inside it. Just copy this and then -d Echo Art -tables -batch. So this command will list all the tables within the specified database. So you can see there are total 8 tables in this database. Once the tables are listed, you will see some key tables such as users, right? Now let's retrieve the column names from the users table. So type in the command -d then -t for selecting the user table, then -, columns and batch. So you can see it is retrieving the column names from the users table, right? So the -t flag specifies the users table and the -, column flag lists all the columns inside this table. After identifying the columns, you can now dump the users data. Okay, so let's dump the users data using dump all option, then -, batch. It will dump all the users data, including users name, passwords, and other relevant information. So in the users table, we can see the users information. Here we can see one entry, where username is equal to test and password equal to test. So if we try this username equal to test and password equal to test, we'll be able to log in into this site. Okay. So this is how you can dump everything from the users table. Now if you want to repeat the process for other tables in the database, so let's list all the tables. So you can use hyphen tables. Okay. Now we'll try this process for another table, that is cards. So just instead of users table, we'll type cards. Okay, and this will dump everything from this cards table. So here we have successfully dumped the data from the cards table. We can see one entry, card ID with item and price. Okay. Now if you want to count total records in the users table, you can use -t users -count. So that will count total number of records in the users table. Here you can see total entries is 1, right? Now that you have seen how SQL map can be used to identify and exploit SQL injection vulnerabilities, try applying these techniques on try-hack-me SQL map ROM. I will give you the link of this ROM in the description. That's it for this lecture. Thank you for watching.